bad coming out of, I was going to say this weekend, but really coming out of a weekend series against the Mets and then a series against the Orioles predating that, kind of looking at the road trip so far. To you had a couple concerning things. This isn't going to be like a rain on the Mariners parade kind of day, skies falling kind of day. It's not going to be that. But let's try to take a critical look at what's happening, figure out how we're feeling, and I think, in my opinion, finding a silver lining. But why don't you get us started?
Yeah, to me, the first couple series of this road trip have been a concern because you left Seattle playing the best baseball you've played all season long. You won 8 straight. You won 9 of 10 on the homestand. Things were so good. Vibes were immaculate. Nothing could bring any of us down. It was the best of times. There were no worst of times.
Just the best.
And the start of this road trip has been really, really frustrating to watch at times, especially with how they lost the Orioles series. And then also yesterday's game especially, you had the delayed start because of the rain, and then just not really effective pitching from George Kirby. It was over pretty quickly yesterday. The Mets put up that 3 spot, and then they get the big 3-run home run, made it 6-1. So that was tough. What I don't like about those two series is that the Mariners have faced an Orioles team that has packed it in. They have already held up the white flag. They were sellers at the deadline. They offloaded Ryan O'Hearn, traded him away, and you dropped 2 of 3 to them. And in fact, you're 1-5 against the Orioles this season.
We don't need to talk about it.
Yeah, right. Good thing we don't have to see Baltimore the rest of the season because I am over what they are this year. The Mets were the worst team in baseball over the last couple of weeks heading into this weekend. Like, they had lost, I think, 13 of 15. They were in a complete free fall. Meanwhile, you were the hottest team, not named the Milwaukee Brewers, in baseball heading into at least this road trip prior to the Orioles series. And even with the Orioles series loss, you had still won, 9 of 11 heading into the final 2 games of the weekend series against the Mets. And then you drop both of those. And it's like, what the heck? And I get yesterday the circumstances were different.
Sure, it's kind of weird.
It's a neutral site. It's a one-off thing. You had the early morning travel from New York City to Williamsport, PA. You had to do all the pregame meetups with all the kids, which was a great time. And we'll talk about just the sights and sounds from Williamsport, which it was an incredible event to watch, but. Like, it definitely changed things for the Mariners yesterday with all they had to deal with. And that, to me, was kind of the concerning things to me from what we saw over the weekend is, like, this Mets team was really bad. Like, I get that they have talent, but they have been in
flailing
disaster mode for 2 weeks now, and you let them off the hook. And I don't like that.
I think you're absolutely right about all of that. And certainly with, game 2, going back to that series against the Orioles was frustrating, but you had gotten back into it. And I thought, well, God, if Dylan Moore plays that a bit differently in right field, if Naylor plays it a bit differently, maybe that isn't a run, maybe that's a tie game, maybe you end up winning, maybe you take 2 or 3. Like, there were a lot of maybes with that game too. With game 3, it was a little more frustrating, and then obviously with your series finale against the Mets was probably the most frustrating loss.
Yeah.
Not in that the quality of competition was worse than it was against the Orioles, but the loss just felt like you were never even in it. Like, Cal hit home run number 47, and just no one looked happy. Cal didn't look happy. Like, everyone, they're just kind of annoyed. Very
like,
half-hearted high fives.
Here?
Like,
it's
everyone's
raining.
very frustrated. Yeah. That being said, a couple things are sticking with me from this series, and this isn't my attempt to paint some kind of silver lining. It's my attempt to make sense of some of what I'm seeing and really look at the full context of it and then figure out how I feel about what this team is doing. For instance, we had been talking during the Mariners' hot streak about how cool it was that they were in a hot streak when Cal was absolutely slumping. Cal was in a slump. Yes, he had 3 home runs in 3 games, but it was very much you either hit a home run, maybe you walk, or you get an out. Like, this was not a guy that in any way was raking. He's never been like a hit for average kind of guy, but it's a slump for Cal. I think we can all safely say that. Cal in his last 7, 324, 14, 760, 2 home runs and 2 doubles. Yes.
I'll take that.
2 of those doubles were in one game.
Take that.
But I will take that. So I'm okay with the offense being able to turn it on in game 1 against the Mets. They didn't stay on, but you've seen Cal at least Not every single appearance has been perfect. The first AB in the series finale against the Mets was bad. It's like, Cal, just take the walk, man.
Yeah.
What are we doing? But then he hits a home run on a low hanging slider. So I don't know. Who am I to tell Cal how to approach anything at the plate? But I've been really happy with him turning things on a little bit again, and with Julio not turning off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it feels like the pieces are still there. You're not watching a team that's gone 2-4 and is flailing,
Right,
and is struggling. Like, these have been wins where, compared to the series the Astros just had against the Orioles, which is my second takeaway, comparatively better. You shut out the Orioles in game 1. You just barely, they walked you off in game 2, and then game 3 was disappointing. The Orioles were shutting out the Astros. The Astros got shelled in 2 games. Their 2 losses against the Orioles. The Astros got shut out 12-0 and 7-0. Significantly worse series than you had. There was a perfect game going against Houston through like 7. I mean, you had a better time against the Orioles. So I know the Orioles are not a great team, but you're watching another team that's trying to get to the playoffs too continue to struggle against them. Both the Astros and Seattle Mariners are imperfect teams.
Right.
So you're not like flummoxed as to why they're struggling, but it's not just you, and there's like a relief with that a little bit.
Right. And the Astros are really kind of doing everything they can to hand the division over to the Mariners, and that was a frustration of this weekend where both teams dropped 2 of 3 to their opponent, and you weren't able to gain any ground. But it's like the Astros have looked significantly worse in their losses over the last week or so than the Mariners have, because they lost to the Red Sox 14-1. 12-0 to the Orioles, 7-0 to the Orioles. They did pick up a couple of wins here and there, 5-4 and 4-1. But this Astros team is not what they have been in the past. This has been the time of year where they've really taken off. And right now they're playing the worst baseball they've played all season long. So if you're the Mariners, you obviously got to be cognizant of that as you go into these series, just kind of the magnitude of everything. But also, like, the Astros are close to getting Yordan Alvarez back. I think could be by the end of this week.
Very good point.
That Alvarez could be back in the Astros lineup, which changes a lot. It changes everything with the Astros and kind of how everything slots in that lineup. And that's not somebody you want to face if you're an opponent, if you're the Mariners and you have a big series against them coming up here soon, I believe, on the upcoming homestand, if I'm not mistaken.
An off day?
It's series against the Mariners. Actually, there's only one head-to-head series these two teams play against each other. It's near the end of the season in September, the 19th through the 21st. So only 3 more opportunities that these two teams have against each other. But, I mean, you've got 4. The Astros play 4 against the Orioles, 3 against the Rockies, 4 against the Angels, all in a row from August 21st to September 1st. If Houston was ever going to go on a run, that stretch of 10 games, 11 games, that's where I would say it's likely to happen, because those 3 teams are not good at all, even though they just lost 2 of 3 to Baltimore.
I can still confidently say that even getting Yordan Alvarez back does not automatically pen them in as AL West winners for the Houston Astros. They have been a team that, like the Mariners, this is the least convincing Astros team I've seen in a while. They're still really good. For a while, their pitching was way better than Seattle's pitching this year. Their pitching was what was carrying them, and you kind of applauded the front office for doing that without not only spending a ton of money, because they had some really good bullpen pieces they were able to find, but getting the most out of those arms. This is a club where you gave a very reluctant tip of the cap because it was just they were constantly getting it done. They would sign Christian Walker. He gives them nothing, and they still managed to compete. So, again, I am saying, you still always look around your division, and especially at a winner that's been so consistent, with a lot of caution and with a lot of nervous kind of you can't let this slip. But look, the Houston Astros are taking on the Tigers right now. Yeah, you don't catch a break against the Phillies, a really, really good team, but it's not like they are going to face the Orioles again, but it's not like they're suddenly being handed a series against the Rockies to bounce back against you. They're going to have a tough go against a Tigers team that struggled a bit coming out of July and then was able to kind of heat up again.
Yeah, and I would say another silver lining is the fact that you didn't lose any significant ground yesterday in the AL West or in the American League wild card, because Boston, who you're tied with for the top wild card spot, they lost yesterday. The Astros lost. The Tigers lost.
And that's
Cleveland, who's behind you in the wild card, they lost. The Blue
Jays
lost.
That's all I'm saying is, like, I think that naturally we have two gears that we shift into covering the Mariners. One is hilarious, ironic chaos, and the other is anger. And I'm saying that I don't think you need to be in either gear right now. Right now, you're just kind of on, hey, pedal to the metal, keep pushing forward, see what this series against the Phillies can teach you about yourself, see if Cal can, keep heating up again. Like, this is what you're watching moving forward. And then we'll talk about all the other things that really matter, like, is Victor Robles going to get suspended?
Which, I mean, look, it could be a while. I'm not saying it's going to be like, I saw people kind of like Delman Young years ago threw his bat at an umpire and got 50 games.
Different
but also,
context.
Yeah, Delman Young had a long history of being a jerk to a lot of people in baseball. Robles doesn't have that reputation, but we'll get into that more, obviously, because that was somebody who we were all kind of relying upon once he came back. I thought it was weird, Stacy, that we didn't see Luke Raley once this weekend, and he got activated on Friday. Like, is he 100%? Like, why?
Maybe not. Or maybe Dom
Why
Canzone.
do you active? Yeah, I mean, Canzone has. You don't want to take Canzone's bat out of the lineup right now, but I mean, why activate Raley and bring him up if you're not going to use him?
Yeah.
I found that to be a little head scratching.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for this.
Right.
I was really trying to think of, like, okay, well, maybe with Don and Savallano, and then I was like, oh, no, I don't know about that. Are we looking at Canzone and right? No, he was still used there. Flexibility can Raley play center at all?
I mean, he has in the past, but I don't think you want to take Julio.
Because you have no
out.
one to give Julio a day off.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to rack my mind thinking why you possibly would be doing it. I don't know. Maybe that's why you have Dylan, for that matter. I have no idea.
Right. I think that is the main reason why Dylan Moore remains with this team. Shout out to Dylan Moore getting a double the other day.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dylan Moore can play anywhere, and his defensive flexibility and his availability is the most valuable thing that he offers right now, because the bat just is not there. But if you need to give somebody a breather, whether it be at shortstop with JP, second base, third base, outfield, Dylan Moore's your guy.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are still kind of frustrated with, well, you've got, these guys down in the minor leagues hitting well, and, you just bring up anybody and they're going to be better than Dylan Moore. And, like, offensively, sure, yes. But I think the Mariners just love Dylan Moore in ways that I don't think any of us can truly explain. Yeah. I know we talked to Justin Hollander earlier this season, and he was glowing in his praise of Dylan Moore, and that was before everything had kind of fallen apart offensively for Moore this season. But I just kind of think for as long as they are still doing it and getting close to a playoff spot here, I think Dylan Moore is going to still be here, and I don't think the Mariners want to cut him loose at any time, just because who else in your organization is going to give you the options defensively that Dylan Moore does. Masterboni is decent, but not to the level that Dylan Moore. I mean, he won a Gold Glove last year. Look, I'm as frustrated with anybody with his offense.
Oh yeah, for sure. I thought you were going to say as frustrated as anybody coming out of this series, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like, no, I'm not.
There's a lot of people that are like,
there's a lot of people like sky's falling, screaming at clouds, and all I'm saying, someone literally told me to shut up, calm down. All I'm saying is, there's a lot that's frustrating from this series, but the Mariners are in a pretty good place. And if you watch other games around the league, I'm not like looking at teams leapfrogging Seattle and like running off with this thing. I think that you can still very much win your division, and that should be your expectation. Yeah, absolutely. Your expectation should be that you win the AL West.
Oh yeah, you're very much within reach of the Astros. Still just a game and a half back of them. You've got this 3-game series against the Phillies, which is going to be tough.
I will say you are at a place right now with your season on August 18th where if you don't make the playoffs, you can scream and you can get mad and you can rail against, every single person. Absolutely. This is a team that should make the playoffs without a doubt.
Definitely.
But now what we're talking about is, okay, how do you get the best version of your team? What do you take out of a series that is indicative of a good October? Those are the kind of conversations I'm having about this team, and I think that's a really fun conversation to have.
Yeah, and it means that they are well within the hunt here of making the postseason. It means that every game matters because there have been a lot of years where, it's August 18th and the Mariners are like 5-6 games out of the wild card, and you're kind of like, well, I mean, you got to pass 3 or 4 teams on your way to getting back in the hunt. Like, it just doesn't seem feasible. And so you're having these conversations of like, what if they do, pull it off, knowing that the chances of it happening are very slim. Whereas right now you are in control of your own destiny. Like, you're leading the wild card. You could potentially win your division still. So everything still very much together. Everything's still very much intact after this weekend, even though it didn't go the Mariners' way. So hopefully they can take I'm kind of approaching this Phillies series with the hope that maybe it's like the Tigers series before the All-Star break, where things did not go your way against the Yankees. You get swept in Yankee Stadium, and people's vibes around the team were at maybe the lowest they had been all season long, and then all of a sudden you sweep the Tigers and everything's okay. Not to say that they're going to sweep the Phillies, but there's a possibility. Yeah, why
that's
not?
Gonna be incredibly difficult.
They play good against good teams.
Oh, God. Okay. You mentioned Victor Robles. We got a lot to get to about that. That's leading off headline rewrites, so let's get to it.
Extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bubba and Stacy.
Headline number 1, Victor Robles is facing a lengthy suspension for throwing his bat at an opposing pitcher after getting beaned a 5th time in his last 4 rehab games. What's the real headline?
Who among us hasn't made some regrettable decisions in Vegas?
That's
a
fair point.
I mean, look, have I thrown a bat at anyone, which could be considered a deadly weapon? No. I haven't. However, is there context? No, look, Victor should not be throwing a bat, period. Right. He's going to get a deserved suspension for that. It's hard to add context to throwing a bat, but look, the truth of the matter is there's context for his frustration. So say it that way. Victor Robles posted a statement to his Instagram saying, I want to take a moment to sincerely apologize for my recent reaction on the field. I let my frustration get the best of me, and I understand how that may have affected not just the game, but the energy and respect we all work so hard to maintain. Coming off a long rehab and being away from the game for most of the season has been physically and mentally challenging. Adding to that, the recent passing of my mother has been incredibly hard, and I've been doing my best to hold it together. It's not an excuse, but some context. I feel you deserve to understand where I'm coming from. Getting hit 5 times and 15 at-bats added to that pressure, and I reacted in a way I'm not proud of. He continues to talk about how the game means the world to him. He's very sorry. He's committed to being better, but it's just a very long statement.
Yeah, the best thing going for him right now is that he does not have a history of outbursts like this. And the whole 5 times getting hit by a pitch in like 4 games, that's insane. And he has a history, we looked this up, with Joey Estes, the pitcher for Las Vegas, who hit him last night. He had hit him a few days prior. I think it was Tuesday he had been hit by a pitch from Estes. And then also last September in a game against the A's, Estes hit Robles with a pitch. So 3 times in the last calendar year, Robles has been hit by the same pitcher. So I think maybe that also went into his reaction last night. But yeah, just an unfortunate situation. And now we're all kind of wondering, like, is this going to impact when we see him back? Or does this impact his rehab, cuts it short a little bit, and the Mariners just call him up and be like, well, you don't need to serve a suspension at the minor league level.
Yeah, I will push back against the idea. There was like some viral tweet going around about how he needs to be suspended for the rest of the season. It needs to be like, 40-plus game type suspension.
That's absurd. It was Dallas Braden, the A's TV analyst, who was like, I would put a ball through this torso.
Considering that it's the A's minor league team, yeah. It makes sense.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 2, the Bengals have started listening on trade offers for pass rusher Trey Hendrickson. What's the real headline?
Will the Seahawks start talking? I do want to add this felt way more possible, or at least tempting, when Uchenna Nwosu was sidelined with no timetable to return, but he's been cleared to return to practice, so things are a bit different now.
I think this would be obviously it'd be fun to bring in a pass rusher of Hendrickson's caliber, but I don't think it's the best move the Seahawks can make for themselves. We'll talk about this later on in the show, but especially with the uncertainty in Dallas with Micah Parsons versus Trey Hendrickson, who's going to give you more and also for a longer period of time. Maybe the asking price for Hendrickson's going to be a lot cheaper, but you're also going to have to extend him. You're also going to have to pay him top of the market money. So that to me is me hitting pause on that. But look, would it make the Seahawks better in 2025 with Trey Hendrickson here? Yeah, I think it would. But are the Seahawks ready to contend at that level, missing just one piece that, he's 30 years old, so he maybe only has 3 or 4 more seasons at this level.
Which is still incredibly valuable play, but the thing that's really interesting is I think it's more valuable for the Bengals. And that's why I'm not quite sure. Obviously, there are financial reasons, and there's a hesitancy to invest in, I don't want to say older players, but a player that's about to be on the wrong side of 30, and also the Bengals are a cheap organization. That being said, your window is right now. You're paying Jamar Chase a ton of money. You're paying T. Higgins a ton of money. You're paying Joe Burrow a ton of money. Also important to note that when we have all these conversations about all the quarterback talent in the AFC, let's never forget that of all of those young quarterbacks, only one of them has managed to beat Mahomes and actually get to a Super Bowl, and it's Joe Burrow. You have the offensive weapons. No team gets more out of having Hendrickson on the roster than you do. Why are you gonna trade him? It's more important to anyone else that you have him. That's what I don't get.
It's the Bengals being the Bengals.
I guess.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 3 per ESPN's Pete Thamel. The Big Ten is said to be floating the idea of a 24 or 28 team college football playoff. What's the real headline?
Hear me out. How about a 136 team playoff stretched out over 12 weeks in the fall?
Okay.
I think it could be fun.
So they'll call it the regular season.
Woo!
Tournament expansion, college football playoff expansion, it's just going to happen whether we like it or not. I didn't mind the 12-team playoff, but again, there were some teams in it this year where it was they're just going to get blown out. Like Indiana, when they went on the road to Notre Dame, it just didn't feel like they were the same kind of caliber of contender, and turns out Notre Dame was pretty good. They finished as the runner-up in college football this season, but 28 teams, you're talking about letting in teams outside of the top 25.
Yeah.
When you get to teams ranked 23rd, 24th, 25th in the top 25,
you're already knowing
at the end of the regular season, they're going to have 4 or 5 losses.
Yes.
You want to bring those teams in to have a shot at a national championship? No, I don't want to watch.
Yes.
I don't want to watch Wake
Think
Forest
of the commercials
against Mississippi State in a neutral site game.
In a horrible bowl game title.
Downpour.
The bowl game titles are going to get ridiculous.
Right. The TaxSlayer.com Gator Bowl or whatever. Yeah.
All right. So, in addition to all of our takeaways from this Mariners-Mets series, we had a couple other nuggets from around baseball to take out of this weekend, including potential realignment. Don't go anywhere.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
Why is Mazda of Everett the #1 dealer on the West Coast? Mazda of Everett is locally owned and operated for 20 years. They work hard to get you their best deal every time and to make sure you drive away happy. With over 700 new Mazdas, they stock more than anyone in the Seattle area. Find out for yourself why people keep coming back to Mazda of Everett. Take advantage of the Mazda of Everett price during the More to Move You sales event. MazdaofEverett.com. Claims based on Mazda USA inventory and sales reports.
Summer is here and Washington Energy's BOGO 40% off sale is on now. Update and enhance your home with beautiful new windows and doors expertly installed by Washington Energy Services. Save today with one of our best deals of the year. Buy one energy efficient window, get the second at 40% off. And BOGO 40% off all entry, patio, and interior doors right now. From traditional to modern home updates and with over 65 years of award-winning installations, Washington Energy is the clear choice. Call today for a free estimate.
New Harley-Davidson starting at $99 a month at Jet City Harley. 600 new Harleys in stock. Only $99 a month for a brand new Harley-Davidson at Jet City Harley. Visit JetCityHarley.com.
Payments based on Nightster models and base color with 30% down, 84-month term, 6.99% APR with approved credit. Doesn't include freight, setup, tax, title, and license fees. See dealer for details.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bail Arm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bailarm.com today.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath.
High five.
You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm, totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
JTV Jewelry Television knows you love to sparkle, so now's your time to shine like the star you are. Enter JTV's Shine Like a Star sweepstakes for your chance to win $5,000 in dazzling jewelry from top brands, including Rachel Zoe Jewelry and Judith Ripka Jewelry. Plus, just for entering, get $30 off your next qualifying JTV purchase of $99 or more when you opt in for emails. Enter now at jtv.com/likeastar. And remember, if you love jewelry, you'll love JTV.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Everyone always asks me, what were your top reasons for choosing Advanced Hair? Well, allow me to share, along with some details, on, get this, their once-a-year summer savings event. Okay, first off, Advanced Hair stands by the results, and I'm living proof those results are second to none. With Advanced Hair, your own natural hair is guaranteed to grow. Secondly, Advanced Hair combines line's top-rated physicians with modern technology, creating a concierge quality experience that blew away my expectations. And lastly, Advanced Hair's Advanced FUE begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. It is quick, simple, and easy. Now, if you have a flexible schedule this summer and you've been waiting for that special savings opportunity, well, it's here. Advanced Hair's Summer Savings Event will get you the most hair for your dollar. It's their best offer ever. For details to schedule your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. Your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy
weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Great question from the 509. Did we get our diva update today, or do we wait for Bump to get back? Well, Bump, being the diva that he is out sick today. Nothing more diva-like than getting
And
sick.
he had a scheduled day off tomorrow.
So I think
Somebody want a 4-day weekend?
Yeah, I think he does. I think that's diva behavior. And I think that I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to start the diva behavior tracker heading into week 1 with kind of like a look at the current standings, like the preseason diva behavior rankings, if you will. And then the diva behavior tracker.
Do points count just only like partially in the preseason?
No, they definitely count. I think they help establish a baseline. It's very much like, AP Top 25. Like, it helps establish a baseline. You know what I mean?
This is a
like,
preseason poll?
Exactly. In JSN's Texas. Like, you got to kind of know what you're looking at here. Are there real divas on this team? Unfortunately not, but I will make them. I'll create them out of
What do we
nothing.
make of, how do we rank Derek Hall's short shorts? Is that diva behavior?
It
Or
could
is
be
that
considered
just
diva
like,
behavior, but given the vulnerability and I think
you're really putting yourself out
I
there with
think-
those short shorts. They're basically briefs is what he's wearing.
it's like I want to
during
give him a diva
practice.
behavior point, but I also appreciate that he's being like, I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to wear these
And,
short shorts.
I mean, if you've
my
got
shirt
the,
is longer than my shorts.
If you've got the gams to pull it off,
Yeah,
like he
then-
does, then I guess sure.
I wish we could rhyme that. Anyways, I need to go to a craft store to get some poster board for the diva behavior tracker.
Are you gonna make it a trifold?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to have multiple boards, and I'm just going to have them ready. And every Monday after games, we're going to track who's our diva behavior board leader.
Okay.
Yeah, right now it's G, JSN, and Bump.
Okay.
And I think we need, frankly, more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the only other wide receiver we know is Brian Walters.
It doesn't have to be a wide receiver.
Right.
I actually would love to break that stereotype. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get some offensive linemen on here. All right, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about 3 baseball nuggets to come from the weekend. One of them, very interesting. Rob Manfred says MLB expansion could lead to potential geographical realignment. MLB hasn't added any new teams since '98, but Rob Manfred wants to see the process in motion at the very least by the end of his term. And while he expects that by the end of his term or during his term, he's not going to see an actual expansion team B playing, he just wants to see the process started. 2 new teams would create 16 in each league, and that would mean realignment.
I think if we expand, it provides us with an opportunity to geographically realign. I think we could save a lot of wear and tear on our players in terms of travel, and I think our postseason format would be even more appealing for entities like ESPN, because you'd be playing up out of the East, out of the West, and that 10 o'clock time slot where we sometimes get Boston, Anaheim, would be 2 West Coast teams, and that 10 o'clock slot that's a problem for us sometimes becomes a real opportunity for our West Coast audience. So I think, I think the owners realize that there's demand for Major League Baseball in a lot of great cities, and that we have an opportunity to do something good around that expansion process.
Now, if you had it where you're looking at the Northwest or the Pacific, you know what I mean, very specific geographical realignment, you're looking at like Giants, Mariners, Rockies, A's.
Yeah.
And I like that division.
Oh, yeah. You're only crossing, you're only going into the mountain
Get
time
the
zone against
Southwest
the Rockies.
out of here.
Sure.
Central out of here.
I found it interesting, though, in that quote that Manfred had on last night's broadcast, where he goes, you kind of lose the 10 p.m. time slot, and we're really trying to keep West Coast fans in mind with that. And it's like, You mean 7 p.m.? Like, that's a pretty normal time slot for viewing things on the West Coast.
Still from the point of view of an East Coast person going, you don't want to stay up until 10 to watch your games. I've never stayed up until 10 p.m. to watch a game. What are you talking about?
What you're really saying, Rob, is we want to keep the East Coast fan in mind so that
what it is.
more East Coast teams are playing against each other at what would be 4 p.m. Pacific,
That's
7 p.m.
what it
Eastern.
Is. Yes. We don't
West
want
Coast fans have no issues with any start time ever.
None.
Started at 1 o'clock, started at 10 a.m., started at 4 p.m., started at 7 p.m. We can make it work.
It's
it
just
is
you
not an issue on the West
who
Coast.
can't stay up and to watch like a defending World Series team Dodgers take on the Padres for a really electric series. I know it was a sweep, but for a really electric series. So I'm sorry, it starts at 10 p.m.
So you can mask it as though you're trying to benefit the West Coast viewer. We all know it's the East Coast
Good call
viewer.
out, Curtis. That's exactly what it is. I mean, and here's the thing. Take out California. The bulk of the country does live on the East Coast. I get it. The bulk of teams are not on the West Coast. I get it. But don't even try to cover it.
Yeah.
Don't even try to hide what this is.
But I love the idea of realignment in baseball, especially because we see the Mariners' travel schedule all year, every year, and it is the worst in baseball by a wide margin. I mean, and most of that is because the closest team to you geographically is in San Francisco, which is like 800, 900 miles away.
Yeah, further than Sacramento, I'll tell you that.
It is. And if you're taking a bus to Sacramento, you felt every one of those miles.
What a horrible spring break idea that was on my part. 18-year-old me did not think that through.
Definitely not. But it's funny because you look at what the current alignment is. You know which team is furthest away from Houston, Texas?
Seattle.
The Seattle Mariners. The Mariners are the furthest team away from Houston, Texas, the Astros, where they play, and they're in the same division.
Yeah.
What kind of sense does that make?
None.
That makes none whatsoever. So yes, realignment is so overdue in Major League Baseball. And hopefully, and Manfred says hopefully by the end of his term, we get to see this process in motion. That's 2029. So 4 years from now, get it going. The issue, though, is, and we're seeing in the NBA where, like, a lot of these owners don't want to divvy up even more of the revenue that is coming into the league. And baseball revenue, still impressive, but not to the level of what, like, the NBA is
I hear
right
what you're
now.
saying, where if NBA owners don't want to do that, where the cost of acquiring a franchise and the cost of what you're making with the franchise is higher, then would MLB owners be as willing?
Right, and we're seeing how the NBA has lapped Major League Baseball in terms of team valuations.
Granted, there's no James Dolan in MLB, so maybe there's
still some
ornery owners.
Yeah, some crusty types that don't want anybody taking their money. But yeah, I think expansion is something that Major League Baseball definitely needs to consider soon, especially with the odd number of teams in each league. I've always liked sort of it being even, whether it be 14 in each league or
16.
So I think baseball is in desperate need of figuring out sort of the geography of their game, especially no sport travels more than baseball.
Yeah. I have another nugget from the weekend that I want to get to. We were talking a little bit during the break about the sights and sounds from Little League Classic, and two moments stood out to me, both just really funny, but one in particular I think speaks to the wild season Cal has had. Julio nearly getting his ACL taken out by a security guard. And also, Cal Raleigh, big dumper, signing a toilet seat held up by a little kid.
Where did the toilet seat come from? Did it come from the dorms?
The store.
You think somebody went and bought it at a store?
No, I think it still had plastic on it. I think they took that toilet seat. I think that is a used toilet seat.
Some 12-year-old went to the dorms at Williamsport and was like, I got nothing to sign for Cal. What do I do?
I know exactly what to take.
Pulls it right off and then runs down, and Cal, as gracious as he always is like, sure, why not?
The ridiculous of it, and it is funny, but the sight of it, if you were to show me that clip 3 years ago, I'd be like, wait, what?
What's going on?
Or if you were like, hey, there are kids that were more excited to get Cal Raleigh's autograph than Pete Alonso and Juan Soto. I'd be like, first of all, what do you mean Juan Soto's on the Mets? And secondly, what do you mean they were more excited? I think it just speaks to, like, not even the jump that his fame and recognition has taken over the course of his year, or maybe since 2022 when he hit that, home run to end walk-off to end the drought. Specifically this year, his star has catapulted. Yeah. And it's just crazy to see.
He's just so like important to these young kids because it's been a long time since the Mariners have had an easily identifiable star. Like, I get that they've had Felix and whatnot. And
stars by virtue of talent.
Yeah, but
like
guys who even the East Coast will tune in for, and Cal is definitely that.
You've got, like, national podcasts where, like, Barstool Sports is, like, begging Cal to come on with them.
And so seeing the hero's welcome that he got, he was easily the most popular player yesterday. You mentioned Julio nearly getting taken out. That hill is no joke.
That was an inside job, I think.
Potentially, yeah. But also, if you're a security guard working that hill, you got to be better at getting down the hill than what that guy was doing. He was coming in 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, I think it was a woman.
Oh, no. Poor lady. She was coming in 100 miles an hour and would have taken Julio out. That would have been brutal.
All right, we are going to go. We have a lot to talk about with the Seahawks. We haven't even gotten to them yet. So we're going to go for about an hour here. So much stuff to cover, including what caught my eye, specific plays from the game. We got some X's and O's for 4-down territory, about some things sticking with us from the rest of the NFC West, some big stories to come out of the league from this weekend. Before we get to any of it, though, kicking things off, the latest from Daniel Jeremiah. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Mariners' push to the playoffs, and it's only on Seattle Sports.
He's looking up, and it is gone! He does it again! Number 47 for Cal.
Up next, another tough test against one of baseball's best teams in the first of three against the Phillies in the city of brotherly love. First pitch today at 3:45. Pregame at 2:30 on Seattle Sports, on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with zero investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
When your outside matches how you feel on the inside, that's kindness. And so I think that is the one thing that the Lee Johnson Auto family encourages us, is to be like really authentic and really be intentional in how we treat our customers and how we treat each other.
To have a good company, have a good culture, have a good crew that takes care of your customer base, you have to take care of your crew. You can't have miserable people and expect them to give a customer a good experience.
Walking in here, meeting some of the employees already before I was even hired on, welcoming me in, gave me a good indication what this company was all about. So if I were to make an hour and a half drive here and to have fun here for 8 to 9 hours a day versus if it's the other way around, then I'll take it.
It's not a script. It's a belief. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Americans may not agree on much, but we agree on Social Security. We all pay in. It ought to be there when we need it. Social Security could face a funding gap in less than a decade, and I don't want to see a pay cut. I'm with AARP in the fight to protect the Social Security we earned.
Pledge to protect Social Security at aarp.org/weearnedit. That's aarp.org/weearnedit. Paid for by AARP.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
The ballpark is rocking like 2001. Let us clear up your allergies so you can enjoy more of each game. Hey, it's Dr. Ryan Stern of the Stern Sinus Center. Let us fix your ear, nose, and throat problems. Let's make your congestion, sinusitis, snoring, and allergies a non-issue. We can diagnose and treat everything from allergy testing and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced balloon sinuplasty. Come and see us in Federal Way and Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
This is Steve Ahmed, president of Pacific Power Batteries. We know that customers like to buy from nice people who we generally like and trust. We don't consciously buy from a corporation, a jingle, or a logo, but it's the little things, like knowing about batteries, how they work, and why they don't work. Maybe it's just a smile from Noe, or Brandon, or Jennifer, or even Travis. Ha! At Pacific Power Batteries, we do our best to hire and train good people so you can trust them. So come on in and put us to the test.
You gotta love baseball season, but when it comes to your windows, you don't want any curveballs. Rick Riz here, reminding you to trust your clubhouse with locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Experience the difference with high-quality products, expert installation, and top-notch customer service. It's always a home run with Pella. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Just go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Latest from Daniel Jeremiah, who was a guest on Brock and Salk this morning. We're going to start with what he thought was the clear, coherent plan on Friday.
Yeah, everything kind of worked off of each other. No, I mean, there's a clear, coherent plan there. My question, because it's not being up there, and I haven't read all the clips with Seattle through the preseason. Is there a chance Charbonnet is the guy up there?
Maybe you should have been watching our show, DJ, because then you would have seen Clint Kubiak, when asked about his ideal running back, mention Zach Charbonnet by name. Maybe you would have heard us.
Doesn't get much more clear cut than that.
Maybe you would have heard us talking about, is Zach Charbonnet going to work his way into that RB1 spot? Like, hey, we're not saying that Ken Walker can't have a career season in this offense where they are absolutely going to be running the ball a ton. But they seem to really like Charbonnet.
Yeah.
Not once, but have twice. The other time being Mike McDonald brought him up unprompted in conversation. Asked about, hey, what stands out from the running back group? Oh, Zach's really becoming a leader. It's like what Mike McDonald was talking about. Granted, maybe it's because Ken isn't out there and he's impressed by Zach Charbonnet taking on all the number one reps and doing a great job. But, I think they really, really like his availability. Here's more from DJ on Charbonnet.
I'm just watching him run, and I'm sitting there going, I like Kenneth, but I'm not so sure that the other guy isn't better.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you say? Because I have my own reasons, and I think Broncos too.
I think he sees it better. To me, I think he just got better vision.
I feel like we started a trend that's really cool, but we're not popular, so someone then stole our trend.
Yeah, or it's when you say a joke quietly to 2 or 3 people, and then one of those people says it even louder,
Which
and gets
is exactly
the group
what
to
I
laugh.
do to you, and now I know how it feels.
Exactly.
It's like when you say a joke, like someone says it, but it's quietly, and then you say it louder.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying,
okay.
Matt?
What a great example.
Oh, my gosh.
I
That
know.
is so funny, Stacy.
Right?
You are so funny.
Curtis, what's your thought about this?
I think DJ is he's right about all this. Like it's going to be Zach Charbonnet, and I don't think anybody should be surprised about that. And it's funny because there's still national analysts that haven't really caught on to this.
But fairly, because Ken Walker is legitimately so talented and has
Really
an
talented.
explosiveness that is unique.
Yes, he does, but also has an inability to really see the whole and does not take advantage of what's in front of him and maybe looks to create a little too much for Mike McDonald's liking, which kind of leads to an inefficient running style. Look, I think Ken Walker has all the talent in the world. He's a former 1,000-yard rusher in the league, and he did that as a rookie. That should mean something. But Zach Charbonnet is he's so steady. He is somebody that may not have breakaway speed or anything like that, but he's going to get you, 4-yard carries all the way down the field. And look, if you're averaging 4 yards or more a carry, you're going to get first downs. That's just how it is in the NFL, whereas Ken Walker has just not been as efficient as a runner. I still see people are like, oh, Ken Walker, great value as a running back in Clint Kubiak's system. It's
but
I don't think not if he's going to not be the starter. I mean, obviously running backs get banged up all the time, and it's good to have, another second-round pick there with Walker and Charbonnet, but it just feels to me like it's Charbonnet's job.
Well, and I'm glad you mentioned his availability, Charbonnet versus Ken, because both are obviously very important there. I feel like there are 2 things that I've been trying to make very clear about this take as a whole. One is Ken Walker's very talented and does not have the lack of availability that someone like CJ Prosise did. Just because a running back keeps getting banged up does not mean he is a running back that is perennially just not available. CJ Prosise was never available.
Right.
Ever available. And it was something that I think really bothered that coaching staff after a while. I think that the lack of availability always kind of bothers a coaching staff, even if they know that it's not really your fault. But Ken Walker starting at least 11 games in each season is not the same as a player who can barely get through 4 or 5. Now, that being said, the second thing I want to make clear, the take, trademark, is not Zach Charbonnet is more talented than Ken Walker.
Right.
The take that I think Daniel Jeremiah is interested in, that we've been talking about, and that you're talking about right now is, does this coaching staff see more with Charbonnet, favor Charbonnet? Does the offense favor Charbonnet in a way that it might not with Ken, even though Ken is the fastest running back and the most explosive running back they have? That's interesting. Because that's not just Zach Charbonnet's better. No, I don't think that's the case. What's way more fascinating is whether Ken Walker has a few more physical tools, but that Zach has something that the coaching staff really, really loves. What does that mean?
Yeah, I think Charbonnet and then also Sam Darnold too are just better fits for Kubiak's offensive system, which is a lot more meticulous than what Ryan Grubb was running last year. It's a lot more disciplined too than I think what Ryan Grubb was running a year ago. I think Grubb, if he was able to get his offense going the way I think that he had envisioned, then I think Ken Walker's a better fit for that. But that's not what they're doing right now. I think what Charbonnet offers this offense is going to be more beneficial with Kubiak and what he wants to do and his vision for it. And then also, I think just not only what Charbonnet is as a running back, but we talked about it, the availability. If Walker was practicing, if he was pushing through all these bumps and bruises that he's had this offseason, then I think maybe the coaching staff would be a little more open to having him compete for that starting running back job. But I think with what Charbonnet was able to do on Friday night against that Kansas City defense, I think he sewed up the number one running back job for sure. I think what we saw from him, and not to say that like Walker's going to be inactive or anything. I think he's probably just going to be running back number 2 to start the season. But yeah, Charbonnet has really impressed this coaching staff throughout this offseason, and Friday night was another example of it.
Speaking of Friday night, we got 2 preseason games in the books, 1 to go against Green Bay this upcoming Saturday. We'll talk about everything we've learned through 2 games. What caught our eye coming up next?
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Josh Naylor's hit the ground running. The defense has been something I did not even think about. If it's possible, I would be knocking on the door, calling the phone, sending the emails with his agent. And I think if they are able to go on a deep run in the postseason, that could go a long way into selling Seattle to him if it needs to be sold.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Now is the time. We talk about it year-round, but roofing season really is upon us. It's Mike Salk here. So what makes it roofing season? Long, dry days where roofing crews can work realistically sun up to sundown. They're cranking out projects all over our region, and Riverside Roofing is, of course, leading the charge. Local to Marysville, Riverside Roofing serves the entirety of Western Washington. They do amazing work. They've earned my recommendation, plus industry awards like GAF Master Elite's President's Club, a status fewer than 1% of roofing companies in the entire country actually achieve. Get a roofing quote in less than 60 seconds using Quick Quote directly on riversideroofingllc.com. It'll pop up as soon as you go on their website. During and after your roofing job, you can expect a yard and driveway totally clean of debris. Behind their national accolades is a family company from right here in Marysville, built upon important local values like trust. That's why Riverside Roofing is the local roofing company you can trust. Go to riversideroofingllc.com.
This is one of the most spectacular venues with all kinds of character and hospitality, scenery. These people in this Kittitas Valley, they love when you come to see what they have to offer.
I'm JJ Harrison, Ellensburg Rodeo Clown, and I want to invite you to the rodeo. Come hang out with us in Ellensburg. Great rodeo, great time. 2 performances on Saturday. 1 is the Extreme Bulls of the Year event. Do not miss the Ellensburg Rodeo, August 29th through September 1st. We'll see you there.
Hey homeowners, John Curley here. Why not improve your home's comfort and efficiency now? Plus, save 50 to 75% by combining tax credits, rebates, and incentives on a new heat pump from Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Stacy here. Sell your car to Wayscar Ford, and when they resell it, they share half their profit with you. That's right. Sell your car to Wayscar Ford, Isuzu, and Auburn. They'll pay you today for your car, and once they resell it, they'll share half their profit with you. WayscarFord.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, From voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery. So he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I just saw 2 houses for sale. Same neighborhood, almost identical, but one had an Orchard sign and it sold for way more. So I asked my friends at Orchard, why? The first house used a traditional agent. After weeks of price drops and frustration, they settled for less than they'd hoped for. The second homeowner chose Orchard and got more. Their local Orchard agent didn't just list a home, they marketed it. They knew exactly which upgrades would attract serious buyers and brought in a pro to handle everything. And even more, with Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program, the homeowner moved into their new home before their old one even hit the market. They skipped all the hassles and showings. Never settle for less. Get more with Orchard, the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to buy your new home, even before your old home sells. Start with Orchard's free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners dropped 2 of 3 to the Mets in a weekend series. Cal Raleigh hit home run number 47 yesterday, a 2-run bomb in the 7th, but it wasn't enough to get them out of a then 7-1 deficit. It's instead a 7-3 loss. The Mariners open up a series against the Phillies today at 3:45. Logan Gilbert against Ranger Suarez.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. All right, we got 2 preseason games in the book, 1 to go before we get into the regular season. I could say we've learned quite a bit about this team, whether it's going to be the depth chart, whether it's going to be some players that could surprise us. So let's get to it with what caught my eye. Curtis, you want to go first and for Bump today?
Let's do it. So what caught my eye was I'm scrolling through social media during the second half of the game. Spoiler, I only was able to catch the first half after the game was done because I was at...
Because you don't care about ball.
Well, that, but I was at a birthday party. Was it a children's birthday party? It was a children's birthday party at a trampoline place in South Center. It was a great time. But what stood out to me, what caught my eye from Friday night, and now this is not something that Seattle fans are used to, and I've railed against East Coast bias all my years working here, but there was a lot of national praise for the Seahawks offensive performance on Friday night, which to me it's kind of like, okay, this is a little strange to see, because like we're always told, don't buy in too much to what you see in the preseason. But you had people like Scott Pioli raving about Greg Zabel's performance. Mina Kimes, another person as well, calling him pretty good. And it was even beyond just Greg Zabel's performance. It was Brian Baldinger raving about it. And how about Dan Orlovsky today on the Pat McAfee show telling everybody, hey, pay attention to this Seahawks team?
I think Seattle's going to be awesome, man. And Clint Kubiak, new offensive coordinator. And in preseason, they looked fantastic. Just what I watched them present the other night, it looked like a complete offense when it came to changing the snap count, shifting and motioning, different variations in the run game, changing the launch point of the quarterback, different pass games when it comes to sometimes they're trying to get the ball out quickly, sometimes they're trying to push the ball downfield, sometimes you want a play action concept. So I watched that and I'm going like, man, that looks to be a team that's under control. I think their defense, secondary-wise, will be fantastic once again. So Seattle looks to be, for a team, for me, everyone's talking about, and I'm one of them, Rams, NFC West division favorites, and I still, feel that way. But I think Seattle's going to be very much so in that conversation.
Does it make you pause when you hear all this praise heaped upon the Seahawks after a preseason game?
A little bit, but you know what also happens, and I know this because when it comes to teams I don't cover regularly, you do inevitably hear about things much later or lean heavily into what you hear from, let's say, reporters that cover the team, which is sometimes you're just kind of late to the party. What I think is happening with a national audience when it comes to the Seahawks is one thing we know to be true here in Seattle is that Ryan Grubb was a bad fit. All love to Ryan Grubb. Go Dogs. However,
roll Tide.
Roll Tide. He was not a good fit for the Seahawks, and the things that you kept hearing about the team was that had become evident to the Seahawks over the course of the season. But what are you going to do? You can't change your play, but you cannot fix something once the season is started. You can try to adjust, certainly, but you can't have this comprehensive fix of your offense, your philosophy, your approach, where you go when you're stuck and you need to figure out a way out. That has to be who you are intrinsically as an offensive play caller. And who he was a guy that is a college scheme kind of pass guy that looked for matchups. It's just what he was. I don't think that the national audience was as aware of that, because what they saw was, run game can't get going because Seattle, really suck at drafting offensive linemen. That was kind of the narrative. And to be honest, in a way, the Seahawks had kind of earned that. You haven't had Pro Bowl offensive linemen. You haven't drafted all-pro offensive linemen. You haven't developed those offensive linemen. You have been known as an organization that, wow, you've gone to a Super Bowl and made it to another one and have gotten to the playoffs and overall won more often than not. You've never been thought of as a club, certainly under John Schneider, I should say, that has had an elite offensive line. It's just not been your bread and butter. Fine.
No.
However, I think that history combined with a bad offense and a very flat offense last year led people to think that the offense as a whole was flawed. The personnel isn't good enough. Maybe Mike McDonald isn't good enough. And it's wait a minute. I think what people are keying in on now is what if one of the worst things about the team was an offensive coordinator that wasn't a good fit, as opposed to, 11 starters that weren't a good fit.
Okay, you're right.
Okay. That being
It's weird being on this side. I'm usually on the other side. These transitions, they sneak up on me.
Throwing you off.
That
being said, one thing that caught my eye, I'll start with a positive and then a question, is the run game once again, and this one looks really great. I think it is really, really good that what catches your eye in practice, them working on the run, is what's translating to these games, them excelling with the run. I think that's awesome. It's easily the biggest story of the preseason and of training camp to me, is not only some of the young names that are looking great, like Torrey Horton, but also the fact that this looks like a team very much dedicated to being who they say they want to be. And that's not always the case with every team. Sometimes you say that you want to have a philosophy and then you don't actually act it out. This is a team that wants to run the ball, and they're doing it. They do it in practice, and they're doing it on, I should say on Sunday, but both these games were on weekdays. However, one thing that's catching my eye is that the longest play in either of these games for Seattle have been runs. That's great. Against the Raiders, it was Milroe running for 27 yards. Against the Chiefs, it was Helani running for 30 yards, and that's fantastic. I'm kind of waiting to see a really, really deep pass play. Against the Raiders, you had Drew Lock targeting Derek Young deep for 31 yards. The longest pass play against the Chiefs was a 24-yard, though that was mostly yards after the catch. So I think what I'm waiting to see is, heading into that first preseason game, we were making kind of some bold, fun predictions. And you had one that I thought was really fun, and it was man, I think Jalen's just going to, you take the top off the defense, and he's going to hit Horton for some 45-yard bomb.
That's right.
We haven't seen that play. So that play has not been there so far.
They're saving it for this Saturday.
They're saving it for the Packers. That's exactly right. So I think that's both. I'm combining what has caught my eye with kind of what hasn't yet. A bit of a cheat with this one, but
I like it.
I found them to be complimentary. What's next?
What caught my eye, and obviously everybody's eyes are going to be drawn towards Jalen Milroe and what he does every single time he's out there, but having him come in and do the tush push with Sam Darnold out on the field, that caught my eye. First drive of the game, Seahawks marched down the field, 10 plays, 81 yards, but Is that going to be something that Milroe is doing during the regular season? I kind of like it. You know, he's a bigger dude, and that's something that they didn't really do with Geno Smith while he was here. Remember last year against the New York Jets, in those short yardage situations, they needed 8 tries to get into the end zone.
Oh, God.
And they couldn't do it. They could not do it.
And you could see Mike McDonald going, why are we throwing it?
Well, and I think it was the Rams game, too, where they needed a yard from Ken Walker, didn't get it. Them utilizing the tush push is so interesting to me because, Stacy, remember what one of the teams was that voted against the tush push? The Seattle Seahawks. They voted against keeping it around, and it's back. It's not going anywhere.
Well,
and the Seahawks are like, fine, I guess we'll use it. And you've got the guy to do it. Jalen Milroe picked up the first down and kept the drive going, and the Seahawks were able to put 7 on the board. That caught my eye, too. So 2 things about that whole situation. A, Milroe being in with Darnold, kind of wondering, like, is that what his role is going to be this season? And B, the Seahawks doing something that they voted against. Weird. Weird how that works.
I mean, wasn't it technically owners voting against it? So I think that the coaching staff, in fact, I think most coaching staffs are probably very cool with it, even though it's impossible to defend, and they probably would like for a contender not to be able to have it. I think there's like this, like, I respect ball. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that Mike McDonald is against it, but very interesting point, Curtis. Very interesting. I'll go next, and I'll have a very simple one. We're going to talk about quarterbacks.
Right.
What's catching my eye? I'll say that this is also true for camp, which is that Drew Lock has just taken a massive step forward from where he was last time he was in Seattle. I think that this is something that, much like Sam Darnold's development in Minnesota, didn't start with his most recent stint. I don't think that Drew Lock got to Seattle and suddenly figured out a ton of things. I think that this has been a journey for him where, you know, some things get unlocked maybe when you're in New York. Some things get unlocked elsewhere. Some things get unlocked with a new coaching staff here. But I think that you can see the steps that he's taken, whether it's with his mechanics, whether it's with his confidence. He talked to us a lot about how confidence has grown so much. And I think that as excited as people are with Jalen Milroe being here, it's clear that not only is Drew your very clear number 2 guy, but that he's looked really, really solid. Looked good in preseason games, and he's looked really good at practice.
I like it. Yeah. I think, this offensive line in what they're going to do this season, I mean, people are so down on them, right? Like, what was it, Pro Football Focus?
The offensive line, for sure.
They had them ranked, 30th, I think, in their preseason rankings?
Yeah, ESPN and their positional rankings had them at, I think, 27th, 28th.
Yeah.
Low, or rather high 20s.
So I guess when the bar is that low, like, anything is going to be a success. But I just don't see the Seahawks offensive line ending the season as, like, one of the worst units in football. I think there's going to be progression made. I think they're going to improve as the year goes along. Especially with Gray Zabel, like a first-round pick, people are like, this guy's bust-proof. Like, he's not going to fail at the NFL level.
Yeah, I don't think you should put too much on a rookie, but I do think that Gray Zabel looks really, really good, and you can be excited about him. I think maybe the most important thing is going to be that you're not constantly going out of shotgun. So for an offensive line that's struggling at pass pro, you're not asking them to pass pro in very obvious passing situations. And I think that how many times last year did we talk to Ray Roberts, who we're going to have on later on the show, and he was like, you don't get better run blocking unless you get work run blocking. You can't ask these guys to do it, every once in a while and not let them get into the flow of the game.
Yeah.
So part of it's just not getting that work in. Yeah.
We got
Do you have one more?
Sure.
Okay.
What caught my eye is the battle for that number 3 running back spot. You had George Holani, who had another really good performance on Friday night, capping it with this 30-yard run.
He's going to hand off, and there goes George Holani, left side, turns upfield, all the way across the 45-yard line, knocked off his feet. Holani, we've talked so much about who might be the 3rd running back. He was not touched at the line of scrimmage. Yet again, another running back for the Hawks that breaks free into the secondary without being hit, a 30-yard run.
And then in that same quarter, you had Damian Martinez pop out for a 19-yarder.
Chiefs 32-yard line, eye backs behind Drew Lock, who goes under center with a slot left side, turn in hand, straight ahead, finding running room. Martinez inside the 20, dragging tacklers with him inside the 15-yard line. That was his calling card. Damian Martinez, the rookie out of Miami, was known to drag 2 or 3 or 4 defenders toward the goal line. He did that time for 19 and a first down.
I think Helani has the inside track to that third running back spot, but I think Damian Martinez, I've always thought the world of him, especially when he was at Oregon State. One of my favorite Pac-12 running backs of the last 5 to 10 years. It'd be really cool to see him make the team. I think, though, he might start the year off on the practice squad, but as we know with running backs, very interchangeable, and guys are going to get banged up. So even if Martinez does not make the initial 53-man roster after, cut down day, which is like about a couple, 10 days from now or so, it's after the final preseason game. Even if he doesn't make the initial 53-man roster, I think we're going to hear Damian Martinez's name this season. So I like the running back depth the Seahawks have right now. I think that's going to be huge this year, especially with the commitment to the run game.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, almost 300 rushing yards, and you didn't even have Ken Walker carry the ball for any of those. So just kudos to the Seahawks offense, just kind of imposing their will in that game. Now, who knows what the Chiefs were, they didn't play their starters that long in that game.
Yeah, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like, to your point, you can only take certain things away. So you can't say, I have no notes whatsoever.
Right.
It's just, I have observations. It's with a caveat, but I have observations. Sure. And that's exactly what you're doing.
These aren't, we're not speaking in the definitive today, or
and
really,
anyone with a brain should understand it.
Exactly. But yeah, I think right now, as I see it, the running back depth chart, it goes Charbonnet 1, Walker 2, Helani 3.
The one thing I want to push back on is the idea of, because Charbonnet could be really good, or you're excited with what you've seen from Helani, clearly they must trade Ken Walker. And that is me. That's not me as a GM. That's me having experienced 2017. Going, guys, let me tell you what. Sometimes you're going to get a year where every running back is hurt, and you need as many good running backs as you can. And I think that if your identity as a team is going to be we run the ball, you don't want to deal any part of that room, even if it means, we can deal him when he's still got a year under his contract to another team. Running back rooms are tricky.
Well, and as I see it, and I think as a lot of people see it, I think as you see it, Charbonnet and Walker neck and neck. Big gap between them and your third and fourth option.
Exactly, and think about the kind of team that you might want to be. You aren't a team like the Eagles or like the Titans when they had Henry. I would say the Ravens with Henry, though they obviously have Lamar as a running threat too, where you've got this true back that's going to get all the carries. You're looking at a room like the Lions, where they have 2 really, really good running backs leading off that room. They don't necessarily need both, but for the team that they want to be in the offense they want to be, it's better that they have both, even though there are teams with less. You want to be able to have both. Maybe they trade one of them. Maybe they don't maybe they don't agree with me, but I would just hit pause on thinking of it like a fantasy football roster where it's I don't need Walker. And it's hang on. Guys get hurt.
Yeah.
You want to, or maybe you want to counterpunch. Or maybe if your entire thing is going to be we run the ball, you want multiple guys who can do that well. So, I don't know. Let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Stacy, first down to you. What's the biggest piece of news coming out of the NFC West today?
Matthew Stafford has returned to practice. This was an injury, I would say, not just us, the entire Curtis.
I'm glad he's healthy.
Curtis.
I just wish he played in another division.
Sure. The entire league was waiting to see what was happening with Matthew Stafford, who was dealing with a back injury. There was a period of time where it looked like it could be going in the opposite direction, meaning Sean McVay mentioned following a preseason game, we're going to get Matthew back at practice on Monday. And then Matthew Stafford did not come back on Monday. And people were like, oh, my God, is this actually becoming worse? So it's actually massive for the Rams, who didn't seem as though they were expecting Matthew Stafford to need surgery. In fact, they said on the record, we have not talked about that. So it sure seems like they were expecting to get Matthew back, but I think that the longer he wasn't back out there, the more people were wondering. I mean, for goodness sakes, Colin Cowherd predicted that the Seahawks would win the NFC West when he had to do his division rankings a couple days ago because he was looking at the Rams going, your starting left tackle and your starting quarterback aren't playing. Yeah. It's not even that they're practicing, but not in preseason games. They are not practicing. They are not on the field. So 1 down, 1 to go for the Rams. It's not great news for the Seahawks, but you never root against anyone staying healthy, so good for Matthew Stafford.
2nd down. Stacy, on Friday, which questions did we receive answers to?
Well, it sure seems like for a second year in a row, Anthony Bradford is going to get your starting right guard spot. That was one of the biggest questions we had entering camp. It was one of the biggest questions we had entering camp last year. It feels like that's going to be settled with Bradford as your 1, Haynes as your 2. It also seems like the question that we got not coming from this game, but coming from weekend news, is that Uchenna Nwosu is hopefully going to be ready to go week 1. We'll ask Bob Condotta about it coming up a bit later in the show, but he has been cleared to return to practice. That is massive for Seattle. Consider that on day 1 of training camp, back at the end of July, Mike McDonald was asked, hey, what's the latest on Uchenna Nwosu? And he said, I don't have a timetable. Like, he did not have a timetable. He didn't have an outlook on it. It was something where we went weeks without hearing a single update about him. So that's massive news. The question we had about that position group was whether or not the Seahawks would have to add a veteran. We were back on Clowney watch. Maybe not seriously, but like kind of with
in this economy?
With an eye on whether or not they would add to their outside backers.
3rd down. All right, so those are the questions we received answers to. Which new questions do we have for week 3 of the preseason?
Are we positive that Oluwatimi is your starting center? A lot of chatter on Twitter about whether or not Jalen Sindel is earning more reps there, having been there through 2 games. Also, I know that we got Uchenna Nwosu back and maybe an answer to depth at outside linebacker. What about your off-ball linebacker group? Is Tyrese Knight going to be okay to go? He's dealing with some stuff. Brady Henderson mentioned that there's an injury, but then something that's, I don't know if he mentioned it as an illness or another issue that sounded a little more vague. So I don't know exactly what that means. I have no idea what that means, but I think that this is a defense you should feel very excited about. It doesn't mean that you don't have some depth concerns. I entered camp thinking they would be at outside linebacker at your pass rusher group. Now I'm wondering if it's your inside backers.
4th down. All right, this morning at Patriots practice, Executive VP Elliot Wolf said something that you appreciated. What was it, and why should other teams take note?
So first of all, I always appreciate honesty, very blunt honesty from a front office executive or a coach, because you don't typically get it. So sometimes it's just kind of refreshing. That's the first thing. The second thing is what they were talking about in their team building strategy. Maybe it's because Micah Parsons remains seemingly available for trade, at the very least has formally submitted a trade request. But Elliott was asked, hey, would you guys give up a first round pick, a second or maybe even a first round pick if you wanted to make the team better this season? And he said, yes. Technically, he said, sure. Yep. So it was 2 words. But I appreciate that the approach for the Patriots would be one like this. Hey, we've got this young quarterback we really, really believe in who right now is on a rookie deal. Why don't we take advantage of that in a division where the Dolphins are a little more chaotic than we were expecting, where the Jets are certainly trying to win but don't have a ton of answers at quarterback? Like, yeah, the division is probably going to be the Bills, but there's an opportunity here to make your team more competitive in the short term. Why wouldn't we give up our first or second round pick to get a talent that we thought was going to make our team infinitely better? And I think that we tend to look at roster building, we being fans and critics. Front office executives are smart people who look at it in a more well-rounded way. But we as fans and critics tend to look at this very black and white way of team building. You are either you're in a rebuild and a young team, or you're competing. And I think it's actually like you can build in a lot of different ways. And I appreciate a team that by all outward appearances, people would be like, they're not contending. They're not competing. Being like, well, shoot. If we can add a 20-something-year-old edge rusher and have him for a couple years when we don't have to pay our quarterback, why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we go pedal to the metal and try to compete sooner than people expect? I just thought it was kind of cool and always appreciate a lot of honesty there. A Browns quarterback unknowingly stepped in it this weekend. We'll tell you what he said next.
It's the Mariners' push to the playoffs, and it's only on Seattle Sports.
He's looking up, and it is gone! He does it again! Number 47 for Cal.
Up next, another tough test against one of baseball's best teams in the first of three against the Phillies in the city of brotherly love. First pitch today at 3:45. Pregame at 2:30 on Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
When the weather changes, your home shouldn't be the one left unprepared. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. We offer the strongest solutions in roofing, siding, decking, windows, and gutters, made for the Pacific Northwest. And right now, get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 24 months or up to $3,000 off your next project. No gimmicks, no stress, just reliability you can count on. Visit stateroofing.com or call 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule your free estimate today.
State Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Protect your home and auto by bundling them with Progressive, and you'll have a little less to worry about. But we know you'll find other things to worry about. Like that text you just got from your boss. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Oh, hey, call me when you get a sec. Yeah, this is bad. Oh, well, at least you protected your home and auto with Progressive, so you don't have to worry about that. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
This sandwich, it's a complete game changer. Hello, this is Mike, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club is that juicy chicken with that toasty pretzel bun. That bun, it's crispy, cozy, just amazing. With the pretzel bun, the Dijon mustard, and the chicken, it makes that sweet, savory kind of combination. It's everything that you love about food rolled into one. It looks phenomenal. It tastes great. It's delicious.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
Protect your home and auto by bundling them with Progressive, and you'll have a little less to worry about. But we know you'll find other things to worry about. Like that text you just got from your boss. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Oh, hey, call me when you get a sec. Yeah, this is bad. Oh, well, at least you protected your home and auto with Progressive, so you don't have to worry about that. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Summer is the time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your very own hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. They are the team that addressed my hair loss, and I recommend them to everyone. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event is on for a limited time. time. So get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and make the call now while their summer savings event is still on. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Dave Wyman here, and since I stopped playing football, we've been fortunate to live in the same house for over 20 years. That type of longevity is a good thing, except 20 years in the same house means a lot of things start to break. Most recently, it's our windows. Virtually every seal has broken, and that's why I reached out to Harley Exteriors. Chris and Ray came out to the house, and I could instantly tell we'd get along great, and I'd want to do business with them. They're local, they're huge fans of our teams, and big listeners to the station. Better yet, they have the best product. Olympic Series windows offered exclusively through Harley Exteriors are manufactured right here in Washington and designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. That means cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter. Look up Harley Exteriors for your window replacement. In August, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments for 1 year, and an additional $200 off your project. Call 833-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
Dylan Gabriel, I think unknowingly stepped in it this weekend when he gave some mid-game comments about the Browns quarterback competition. So being asked, obviously, about his performance that day and how crowded that room is.
It's just part of it. You know, there's entertainers and there's competitors. And I totally understand that. And my job is to compete. And that's what I'm focused on doing. Of course, we're doing this mid-game, but, you know, it's something that I'll get used to and just want to be the best team that I can and create an environment where we can all go do our best work. That's all we want to do.
Now, I do have Gabriel's clarifying statement.
Entertainers.
When you heard him say there's entertainers and there's competitors, what did you initially think? Because immediately Twitter was reacting saying, oh, he's saying that Shedeur is an entertainer and that he's a competitor.
Yeah, I think because I didn't see the full context of the quote, and that's where my mind went to because I'm part of the media machine, right?
I'm the man.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, when somebody like Shedeur Sanders gets as much coverage as he does, you're going to look for any way to make something about him, especially when it comes to the Browns quarterback situation. And the only mistake Dylan Gabriel made in those comments was like kind of leaving the door open for that possibility for those to be misconstrued as something about Shedeur Sanders.
And many thought he was saying something about Shedeur Sanders.
I've never known Dylan Gabriel to be, you know, a controversial guy, a guy who's going to say something out of...
He's a bad person.
Okay, yeah, there's that. He's still a pretty good quarterback, but
pretty solid.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, Curtis, I think many people assume the same thing where they were like, well, Shedeur's entertaining. Like he's kind of, you know, there's also this like entertainment business that's really backing him up, and he's a big name, and it's all spotlight, and and so they thought that was what it was about, and Dylan clarified, no, that's absolutely not what I was saying.
You know, all you in this room are entertainers, and you have a job.
First of all, thank you.
To do. And I respect it, right? And I'm a competitor, so I have a job to do as well. And I think, you know, just understanding that, that's how I've lived by, and I've said that multiple times. So definitely not a new quote, but something that I've definitely said before. Yeah, first off, I'm all about our team, you know what I mean, and each other. I would never make that, and I've said it before, that's why it's interesting. But for me, I've explained it. Entertainers are you all, competitor. That's what I am and all my teammates, and we both have jobs to do. So that's it.
I believe him. Here's why. A, his point about, like, I've said this before. It just didn't get as much attention. And B, I think that if I were to put myself in Dylan Gabriel's shoes, I would think I'm better than Shedeur, and he's getting more attention because of his last name. I guarantee you every quarterback in that room thinks he should be the starter.
For sure.
Second,
if they
that's
don't.
just the nature of the game.
Yeah.
No one is dumb enough to say a passive-aggressive comment like that to a reporter during a game with Shedeur on the sideline with you.
Especially as a rookie.
Yeah.
Especially one that is competing for a roster spot.
No one is that stupid.
Yeah. Dylan Gabriel's not guaranteed to make this Browns roster, even if, you know, he outperformed Shedeur Sanders. Like, how many quarterbacks can they carry? They've got, like, 6 on their roster.
I think they've got roughly 25.
Yeah, I think
they've got about 25 quarterbacks on the roster.
right on over.
You're a Brown.
Their depth chart is a who's who of attendees to our quarterback camp.
Coaches.
Exactly.
Coaches and attendees.
Yeah, you know the Manning Passing Academy?
We've got the
We're
Curtis,
different.
Yeah, it's the Curtis and Stacy make quarterbacks better than the Manning Passing Academy Camp LLC.
Exactly.
We keep having to change our name, but it's just because we evolve.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not evolving, you're not improving, and we're trying to do our best.
Always.
But like Dylan Gabriel's got a lot to lose if he
no
kind
way
of
he
steps
said
out
this
of
about
line.
Shedeur.
Yeah, I don't buy that those comments were about Shedeur Sanders. But if they were, I mean, I love the spiciness of them. But I just don't see it being like that. Even though it would be pretty interesting if it was.
And honestly, like he's also making a fair point, which is, look, your guys' job is to entertain people. My job is to try to play good football. So if I'm being asked about how crazy the room is or who's winning, I get why you're asking me. I'm not going to answer your question.
Yeah.
I think is what he wishes he could say. And yeah, don't worry, Dylan. We believe you. Next up, Texans quarterback, also in hot water. C.J. Stroud caused quite a stir among his own fan base when he arrived to Houston's preseason game wearing a Mariners hat. He explained why he chose the hat of the Astros division rival.
Yeah, I mean, I love hats. Like, I wear hats all the time. I probably have every team, but I support, the Astros and the Dodgers because I'm from L.A. and love, it's kind of contradicting, but I still love the Astros, but it's all good. I understand, but it's all about the swag, baby. I'm just kidding.
Leave him alone. Leave him alone. He's innocent.
I like that CJ tried to squash things by saying he's also a Dodgers fan to Astros fans. And it's like, I don't think that's making it any better, CJ.
Really
like,
good point.
That's a team that the Astros hate even more than the Mariners.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if that's going to smooth things over. I personally love the fact that he did this probably unknowingly. Like, he didn't think anything about what kind of reaction his own fan base was going to have to him wearing a Mariners hat. I also love that Astros fans claim that they don't care and they don't pay attention to the Mariners.
So bothered. So bothered.
They were soiling themselves
like
online about C.J. Stroud having the audacity to wear a Mariners hat. They will claim over and over again, "Oh, we don't pay any attention to the Mariners.
We don't care about them.
Our games are your World Series," and it's like, man, you guys care deeply.
No
that
one cares
C.J. Stroud.
more about what the Mariners are doing than the Astros. And
No one
one's obsessed with looking. Two groups of people obsessed with looking like they don't care. Youth and the Astros.
No fan base cares more about how other fans perceive them
than the
Astros. Their
This is a
fan
fact.
base is some of the just lowest of the low. They are a awful fan base. I'll put that out there. They just, oh God, they bother me in a way that no other fan base does. And kudos to C.J. Stroud for giving Seattle a nice little plug over the weekend. That was fun.
Sunday was a first for the WNBA as Sue Bird became the first former player to receive a statue.
I'm the first player to ever have a statue built, and that fact both humbles me and fills me with pride, not just for me, but for what this represents for women's basketball, for every young girl who will walk past this statue and think that maybe it could be her someday, and every young boy who's gonna do the same thing. That means a lot. People keep asking me what it feels like to be the first, and the truth is I never set out to be the first at anything, but if being the first means that I won't be the last, if this statue means that 20 years from now there'll be statues of other WNBA greats, some are in this audience, and players whose names we don't even know yet, then I'm proud to be the first.
The statue looks very, very cool. Secondly, everyone loves Sue. Thirdly, very on board with so many Seattle athletes getting statues, given the Mariners announcement that Ichiro would also be getting one outside of T-Mobile.
Yeah, Ichiro's getting one.
More statues for Seattle athletes. I've always said that.
I wonder if that means Randy Johnson's going to get one in 2027.
I think it should be like a Four Horsemen thing, like put statues outside of every entrance to every arena everywhere. Like, don't stop with Sue. Don't stop with Ichiro. Keep adding.
Makes it hard to walk along the sidewalk because there's just a statue every like 10 to 20 feet.
It is cool to think about it, though. Like, if you were to build, Like, if you were to build a statue, let's say Cal Raleigh goes down as, like, one of the best Mariners. Is your statue not going to be him after his swing in 2022 where his bat's going straight up? That's exactly what it's going to be.
You know what's crazy is that...
And he could play another 10, 11, 12 years, and you're still going to go, that's obviously the statue.
You know what's crazy, though, is that the Seahawks have a very rich history. They've won a Super Bowl. They've had many Hall of Famers in their career.
More statues.
They don't have a statue outside of Lumen Field.
Who would it be?
I mean, Largent is kind of the gold standard of players in the organization.
How do you not make
Walter
it?
Jones
Walter,
has
Cortez
a statue
Kennedy.
at like SeaTac Airport for whatever reason. That's kind of a weird.
First of all, SeaTac's a great place to grow and learn. So
I think Cortez Kennedy would be a good one, but also like, do you do it of a specific play, like the tip? Sherman's tip could probably be a statue on its own right. But
I love the idea of.
I'm just surprised that the Seahawks have never unveiled a statue.
I am too. I think the Mariners have had many, many great Mariners, but Ichiro and Griffey have set themselves apart in a way that it's not controversial that they're two statues. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seahawks have a tougher time.
Right.
There's a tougher time there because you got a couple Hall of Famers, and I need to stop saying a couple meaning two. I know that's how people use it.
I think 4.
I say a couple meaning several. I need to move on. Let's get back to the Mariners here. Coming up in 20 minutes, talking Seahawks with Big Ray Roberts. So let's check back in on our worry meter following what's so far been a 2-4 road trip. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Mariners' push to the playoffs, and it's only on Seattle Sports.
He's looking up, and it is gone! He does it again! Number 47 for Cal.
Up next, another tough test against one of baseball's best teams in the first of 3 against the Phillies in the city of brotherly love. First pitch today at 3:45. Pregame at 2:30 on Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Why is Mazda of Everett the #1 dealer on the West Coast? Mazda of Everett is locally owned and operated for 20 years. They work hard to get you their best deal every time and to make sure you drive away happy. With over 700 new Mazdas, they stock more than anyone in the Seattle area. Find out for yourself why people keep coming back to Mazda of Everett. Take advantage of the Mazda of Everett price during the More to Move You sales event. MazdaofEverett.com. Claims based on Mazda USA inventory and sales reports.
Summer is here, and Washington Energy's BOGO 40% off sale is on now. Update and enhance your home with beautiful new windows and doors, expertly installed by Washington Energy Services. Save today with one of our best deals of the year. Buy one energy-efficient window, get the second at 40% off. And BOGO 40% off all entry, patio, and interior doors right now. From traditional to modern home updates, and with over 65 years of award-winning installations, Washington Energy is the clear choice. Call today for a free estimate.
Are you finding it hard to stay cool in your home during hot weather? The issue is likely your window's poor quality and lack of heat deflecting technology. Adrian here, owner of Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Our windows are 25% more energy efficient than Energy Star standards and come with high performance Sun Matrix glass, which can help keep the summer heat out. Combined with our Leak Armor installation, your comfort will be secured for a lifetime. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Americans may not agree on much, but we agree on Social Security. We all pay in. It ought to be there when we need it. Social Security could face a funding gap in less than a decade, and I don't want to see a pay cut. I'm with AARP in the fight to protect the Social Security we earned.
Pledge to protect Social Security at aarp.org/weearnedit. That's aarp.org/weearnedit. Paid for by AARP.
When your reputation's on the line, you don't leave anything to chance, especially your primer. Painters trust Kills primers for a smooth start, strong adhesion, and serious stain-blocking power. And now, the full Kills lineup is available exclusively at the Home Depot. Need it fast? Get same-day or next-day delivery, or order online and pick up in-store. Kills primers. Pro results, faster. The Home Depot. If you're a pro, you know.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today.
Are you road trip ready? Bucky's Complete Auto Repair will make your car safe and dependable with expert service and old-fashioned care. Brakes, oil change, factory service, and more. No appointment needed, and yes, friendly financing is available. Bucky's.com.
This is one of the most spectacular venues with all kinds of character and hospitality, scenery. These people in this Kittitas Valley, they love when you come to see what they have to offer.
I'm J.J. Harrison, Ellensburg Rodeo Clown, and I want to invite you to the rodeo. Come hang out with us in Ellensburg. Great rodeo, great time. 2 performances on Saturday. One is the Extreme Bulls of the Year event. Do not miss the Ellensburg Rodeo, August 29th through September 1st. We'll see you there.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
I just saw 2 houses for sale. Same neighborhood, almost identical, but one had an Orchard sign and it sold for way more. So I asked my friends at Orchard, why? The first house used a traditional agent. After weeks of price drops and frustration, they settled for less than they'd hoped for. The second homeowner chose Orchard and got more. Their local Orchard agent didn't just list a home, they marketed it. They knew exactly which upgrades would attract serious buyers and brought in a pro to handle everything. And even more, with Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program, the homeowner moved into their new home before their old one even hit the market. They skipped all the hassles and showings. Never settle for less. Get more with Orchard. The smarter, faster, hassle-free way to buy your new home, even before your old home sells. Start with Orchard's free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
Pacific Power Batteries has been our family-owned and operated business since 1985 when my dad and I started selling batteries business to business to commercial fleets from a 1-ton panel van. Yep, delivering batteries. Since then, with our community's support, we've been able to sell online and open more retail stores selling batteries of all kinds. Today, my wife and son are directly involved in the business. At Pacific Power Batteries, we are proud to serve you, your folks, and your grandparents with batteries for darn near anything. So I want to say thank you for your business.
The ballpark is rocking like 2001. Let us clear up your allergies so you can enjoy more of each game. Hey, it's Dr. Ryan Stern of the Stern Sinus Center. Let us fix your ear, nose, and throat problems. Let's make your congestion, sinusitis, snoring, and allergies a non-issue. We can diagnose and treat everything from allergy testing and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced balloon sinuplasty. Come and see us in Federal Way in Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, let's figure out the worry-o-meter. Worry-meter? I'll figure out a name later. But the Mariners are 2-4 on a road trip so far. Now, I was worried, Curtis, about this series against the Phillies. The Phillies are a World Series favorite in the National League for a reason. They have been one of the hottest teams in baseball. Schwarber is raking. Like, it's not going to be easy. And the way I saw this series before it started was, look, I'm not guaranteeing a win anywhere, but you kind of get this gradual ascent to toughness, right? You start out with a series against the Orioles who can't pitch and can't hit. And then you're going to go into a series against the Mets who have an expensive payroll, but they're not pitching well and they've been losing a ton. So the potential's there. It's going to be tougher than the Orioles, but maybe you could get something there. And then you're going against the Phillies, and I just have to accept you might get swept. That's kind of how I saw it. And now I'm looking at it. They got 2 wins to speak of so far. Yeah. So how should we be feeling?
I think there's definitely cause for concern on this road trip, especially because it kind of falls in line with how this team has played away from T-Mobile Park this year, where theoretically offense should be easier to come by outside of your building. But it's been a tough go of it for them over the last 6 games. And then also, it's not just this road trip, but we've seen other road trips where they just don't look like the same kind of team that plays with a lot of juice at home. But you still have 3 games left that can turn this road trip around. You could even finish with a winning road trip if you sweep the Phillies, but that's much easier said than done. I think to not be so worried about this team when they come home after this Phillies series, I think for me, the goal is to win the series. The goal is to go at least
Against
2 of
the
3.
Phillies?
Against the Phillies. And you look at who the Phillies have thrown for them this week. They've got some really good starting pitchers. Now, you won't see Zach Wheeler this weekend or this week, I should say. It's not the weekend. It's the start of the week. You won't see Zach Wheeler. He's dealing with a blood clot issue, so he is going to be placed on the IL. So you're not going to be seeing him over the course of the next 3 games. But you are going to see Ranger Suarez
tonight,
who has had a really good season, 3.28 ERA, 8-6. Christopher Sanchez, who was one of the biggest snubs at the All-Star game, he gets the ball on Tuesday night, 11 wins on the season, ERA of just 2.45. And then Jesus Luzardo in the series finale, he's got 11 wins, 4.21 ERA, 158 strikeouts, 10th in baseball over this season. So
it would be very Mariner to take 1 of 2 from the Orioles and 2 of 3 from the Phillies.
Right. And another thing that is going to be kind of quirky about this series, Suarez, Sanchez, and Luzardo, you know what they all have in common?
Friendship?
Maybe. I can't speak to that. I'm not in the Phillies clubhouse. They're all left-handed. And lefties have had a bit of success against the Mariners this season.
Because that lineup against lefties is pretty god-awful, Curtis. I'm not feeling happy. I'm not feeling great, Curtis. I'm feeling actually worse than I was before the start of this.
You're going to see probably Mitch Garver
You're going to see
a
Dylan.
fair amount. You're going to see Dylan Moore a fair amount. It's going to be tough go.
Okay, so then
Sorry to mention that.
Yeah, you're making it worse, but that's okay. I will get us back on board. So then, what kind of pressure lies on your own pitchers, right? Because I have enjoyed seeing Cal heat up after getting into a slump. I have enjoyed the second half that Julio has had so far. I'm still kind of waiting to see, Suarez get into the swing of things, but I'm so happy he's here. The vibes are right, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe then I'm not looking to the offense to absolutely crush the Phillies and take this one. Does the pressure fall to Logan? Does the pressure fall to your pitching? Does it fall to your bullpen?
I think if the Mariners want to have success in this series, the starting pitching has to go deep into these games. And when I say deep, give me at least 6 innings. Now, Bryce Miller will probably be on a pitch count on Tuesday. He's slated to be the starter that day, at least according to ESPN.com. No official announcement has come down, but Miller was in the clubhouse over the weekend with the Mariners in New York and also in Williamsport yesterday. So when you bring somebody along that's on the injured list like that, especially to an East Coast road trip, the expectation is that they will be pitching. So you've got Gilbert going today against Ranger Suarez.
Miller tomorrow.
Yeah, Miller tomorrow. If Miller can get you 5, I think that's a success. Gilbert's got to get you 6, and then Castillo on Wednesday's got to get you 6.
Nervous.
Yeah, very nervous.
It's interesting, though. I never would have said that about Castillo and Gilbert ever in a million years last year.
Mm-hmm.
How has your confidence level waned, and if anything, improved with these guys?
Confidence level with Gilbert, not where it was at the start of the season. I'm still confident in him giving you a decent workload, a decent result over about 5 innings or so. It's getting to that 6th, getting to the 7th inning that has been a challenge for him this year. Castillo, I mean, he's a different pitcher than he used to be. If he can avoid the loud contact, and that's a lot easier said than done against the Phillies lineup that has a lot of big bats in it, that's going to be key for him. But I would say of the 3 starting pitchers, if I had to rank them in terms of most confident to least confident over the next 3 days, I'll probably go – I think I'll go Gilbert, Castillo, then Miller, just because Miller is so – there's so many variables to take into account.
It's been a weird year for him, too, with this being his second stint.
I love that he is hitting 98 on the gun in these rehab starts. I love that he's getting through 4 or 5 innings really efficiently. But that's also against AAA hitters who are not the Philadelphia Phillies, who are not Bryce Harper, who are not Kyle Schwarber, who are not Trey Turner. they've got just dudes all across that lineup. So it's going to be a challenge for sure. But, hey, we saw the Mariners take all 3 games against a good Tigers team earlier.
I was going to say, to someone's point, the Mariners have been elite versus aces. They're not wrong.
Right. Tarek Skubal, 2 of his 3 losses this year have come against the Mariners.
The Mariners against Skeens won that game, shut out the Pirates. Like, they've actually been pretty solid against guys that
it makes
we were
no
worried
sense.
about.
But, hey, maybe this week you see it again against a really good trio of starters from this Phillies team.
All right, we got some questions about the Seahawks offensive line for Ray Roberts, who joins us next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Josh Naylor's hit the ground running. The defense has been something I did not even think about.
If it's possible, I would be knocking on the door, calling the phone, sending the emails with his agent. And I think if they are able to go on a deep run in the postseason, that could go a long way into selling Seattle to him if it needs to be sold.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Do you have a car you want to sell, but you just don't want to go through all the hassle? With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people just aren't comfortable selling their own car. So how do you get the most money for your used car without having to sell it yourself? Stacy here with the answer. It's Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your car and pay you right up front for it, but it gets way better. Once they resell your old car, they share half that profit with you. The question I get most from friends and colleagues is, well, what's the catch? How can they offer this? It's actually super simple. All the money they save by not traveling to buy cars at auctions, like purchase fees, shipping, and travel expenses, is what allows them to offer this. They'd rather share that money they save with you rather than outside vendors. They encourage you to shop around, but look, if Wayscar Ford can pay the same or more as competitors and then share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you sell your car anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with their customers, and it's only at Wayscar Ford. WayscarFord.com. Check them out today, WayscarFord.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
You gotta love baseball season. But when it comes to your windows, you don't want any curveballs. Rick Riz here, reminding you to trust your clubhouse with locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Experience the difference with high-quality products, expert installation, and top-notch customer service. It's always a home run with Pella. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Just go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
Homeowners, federal tax credits on heat pumps end soon. Home Comfort Alliance can help you save up to 75% on new in-stock heat pumps with combined discounts, utility rebates, and expiring federal tax credits on systems installed by December 31st. These are new in-stock high-efficiency models that will make your home comfortable year-round. Federal tax credits expire December 31st, so don't wait. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com. For all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, it's Home Comfort Alliance, the comfort people.
Hi, I'm Justin Shirley. We offer 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months on new roofs. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF now. State Roofing and Exteriors. Held to a higher standard since 1968.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Planning a road trip? Plan a visit to your neighborhood Bucky's Complete Auto Repair for oil changes, brakes, AC repair, and factory maintenance. No appointment needed, and yes, friendly financing is available. Visit buckys.com.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a month in bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at cmobile.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners dropped 2-3 to the Mets in a weekend series. Cal Raleigh hit home run number 47 yesterday, a 2-run bomb in the 7th. Wasn't enough to get the job done, though. The Mariners open up a series against the Phillies today at 3:45.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Talking Seahawks with Big Ray Roberts joining us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hey, Big Ray, how's it going?
Is it going all right? How you guys doing?
Good, good. We had the offensive line was kind of like our number one question, the number one question for so many fans entering the preseason. As always, we have questions for you about this group, but we're going to talk about a lot when it comes to the Seahawks. I am going to start, though, Big Ray, with your observations, your feeling about the offensive line through 2 preseason games in camp so far.
Well, I will say that one thing I know for sure is that they are operating a system that is proven and that works, and that you can see the plan that they're trying to execute, and you can also see how the players have bought into it. And just from their energy, the way they approach the plays, the way they execute the plays, the intensity at which they try to finish blocks and drives and things. To me, that's one indication that the offensive line room has bought into what it is that this staff is bringing to the table.
Big Ray, the Seahawks got busy in the run blocking on Friday night. I imagine you, being the offensive lineman that you are, brought a tear to your eye, a tear of joy. What was it like for you watching them put up nearly 300 rushing yards? Yes, it's a preseason game, but what was it like for you watching them put up nearly 300 rushing yards on that Chiefs team?
Well, it's hard to put up 300 rushing yards in practice, and so it doesn't really, it was still like a great feat of what they did. And then the other part of it is that it wasn't gimmicky or anything. It was like guys blocking dudes. There's a drill that I used to do with Howard Mudd called fit and finish, and that means you get into the block, you drive your feet, and then you finish the block. And there was a lot of that going on in this game, and I just really love the plan that they have, like with their outside zone or wide zone, if you want to call it that, with the way that they can use misdirection in there. There's some plays where they look like they're going to run the ball, then they throw it, and there's 1 or 2 where they look like they're going to run a counter to the right, but it's actually a misdirection to the left. And so it seems like, hey, there's a little trickeration in that, but it's all rooted in very foundational football, and it's all based on not allowing the defense to be right. So as soon as the linebackers run to the right side to make a play, the play is designed to go to the left side, so you kind of use your leverage against them. And so I love how they do that. In the run game, it's important for two things, as when you play design. One is you either gain a numbers advantage on the side of attack, or you gain a angles advantage. And so by all the pulling and the and the fullback and the tight ends in motion and those types of things, you're creating sometimes both of those to your advantage on one play.
This team was not very good with the run last year. Is that something that running backs have to unlearn bad habits, or could they feasibly hit the ground running this year, if everything kind of gets moving? I guess what I'm asking, Ray, is, as you know, one of the critiques has been, Ken Walker just, maybe he doesn't trust the offensive line. And is there a feel that's lost for a player?
I don't think so. And I don't think that Ken Walker doesn't trust the offensive line. That's just his style of running. Running backs are very instinctual. It's probably the most instinctual position on the field. And so you try to go, hey, we're running this to the outside. And so that's where you're going to start going. And then it's really a lot of times it's just on their intuition and just their feel of the game and stuff like that. It's less of a assignment thing and more of a, hey, here's the area we're trying to attack things. So you get a player that's really creative like K9, and so then you have to live and die with those things. Sometimes they're big plays, and then sometimes they're not so big plays. So I don't think it's a matter of trust, but you can trust in what the plan is, and the plan just looks more trustworthy than it did last year. And then the other part of it is, I've always said this, is that play design and play calling are both just as big a part of offensive line development as the actual just teaching the techniques. So if you don't have a play design and a play call that takes advantage of the strengths that you have on offense and on the offensive line and mitigates the weaknesses, then you're just setting them up for failure. Just all together. And it seems like when Kubiak and those guys came in, they said there are players here that can fit what we want to do. And so they weren't super active in free agency and bringing in veterans and things. They felt like they had guys here that could do what they needed to do, and then they got a great draft in Gray Zabel, and they have some guys that can execute what they want to do. These guys can move and run. They're athletic. They can block on the run, those types of things. And so I think they have a system that will give them a greater chance at being successful in the running game this year.
Ray, you mentioned Zabel. The casual observer might not be able to pick up on some things that you would on the offensive line. What have you made of his first couple of games of action on this Seahawks offensive line?
Well, first I'll say this, is that, coming from the level of college that he played, there was a lot of people questioning whether or not he should be drafted that high and what the competition was like and all this other kind of stuff, and maybe underestimating what he did at the Senior Bowl. But from watching the film, I got wind of him before the Senior Bowl, I think it was his junior year, and just started kind of watching him. This dude has the whole makeup to be successful. At a very high level. He's athletic, he's strong, he's smart. He plays with kind of like a dog mentality, and I love that. And so when I watch film, though, I'm not looking exactly for just the outcome of the play. So I know I try to flex a little bit, but I learned this game from the best, and I played at a very high level, and I was a really good football player. And so I don't look for just the finished product. I'm looking at your footwork, the angles that you're taking, where your hand placement is, your pad level, all those types of things that when a defender is studying you, that's what they're looking for. They're not just going like, oh, man, he finished the block 2 yards down the field. They're going like, what is it that he's doing that I can take advantage of? So when you take a bad step, or you take a bad angle, or your hands are outside when they should be inside, all these different types of things are the things I look for. And so those are the things I thought he made a huge improvement on from the week 1 to week 2. Like his hand placement in the run game was beautiful. I think he had one really bad pass set, but he kind of recovered and fell back to the inside and was able to stay connected to the guy to complete the block. But those are the things that defenders look for. Like, for instance, Kurt, there was one time I got called for false start 3 or 4 times, and I couldn't understand what was happening. I didn't think I was moving. But then my own team, the defenders on our own team was like, Ray, right before the ball snaps, even when your hand is on the ground, your elbow moves just a little bit. And that's what guys are moving off of, and that's what the referee is saying. I wasn't aware that I was doing that because I'm like, my hand is still on the ground. Like, what are you talking about? And so they study everything, every little thing that's going to give them an advantage. And so that's why, when I get in these debates with people on social media, it's like, yeah, you're just looking at how it ended. I'm thinking about the next play and the next game and 5 games down the road and this opponent and that opponent and how you study players and break things down. But I thought he made a huge jump from week 1 to week 2 in the preseason, and so he'll just have to keep doing that all year long because he's gonna see things he hasn't seen before because they're gonna break him down to the nth degree for every week, every game, every opponent. And so that's why that position along the offensive line is really, really hard to learn and be great at because there's a lot in the first year or two that you're learning you may have never seen in your life before. And so, but he did a good job from week 1 to week 2.
I think the 2 things that fascinate me most about the position and in hearing you talk about it are A, some of the mental hurdles and like the mental obstacles, the things that are going to be like maybe only you or other former offensive linemen can understand what Gray's going through as he develops. The other thing is going to be the guys that aren't Gray. So like Anthony Bradford coming in for yet another year. I think that there are certain guys that get into year like 2, 3, 4, and if they don't burst onto the scene and look really good in year 1 and 2, people are like, they just missed. That didn't work out.
Yeah.
And so it's like the development of the offensive line can sometimes be so different for so many different players, right?
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I just said, like, I'm sure the staff that was there last year were good coaches. I don't know that they were ready to jump on the scene and restore an offensive line and an offense that was struggling and all those types of things. I don't know that they had the cachet in the room. And because you have to, when you're coming into a team, whether you're an established coach or not, you have to try to convince these people that your stuff is going to work really, really quickly. Like you can't wait until like halfway through the season and be like, see, I told you. It's like they want to know right away the things you're teaching me, am I going to be successful doing it? And when you start to doubt that, then you start to doubt the coach and you're not really listening and you're just kind of out there on your own. You're doing what you have to do. But speaking of Bradford, I will say this. These first 2 games are the best that I've seen him play since he's been here. He looks like he's in better shape. And for him, it has never been about his ability. It's always been about the mindset, whether he wants to be focused and do this for 4 quarters. And it looks like so far he hasn't played 4 quarters, but it seems like the plays that he's been in there, he has been committed to been engaged the entire game, been focused the entire game, not giving up, bad penalties or bad plays or sacks because he just kind of doesn't seem interested. He seems very interested and motivated. And if he can stay that way and he and Zabel can grow, man, this offensive line, the potential is the sky's the limit for this offensive line.
Yeah, Bradford has definitely looked improved during the preseason. Sticking with the interior of that offensive line, looking at the center battle, Olu has got the experience last season, especially after Connor Williams retired. But also Jalen Sundell has looked really good as well in the preseason. Ray, if you're putting together this offensive line, do you go with the hot hand in Sundell, or is it Olu's job, even with Sundell's performance so far?
Well, to me, I think Sundell probably has like the edge athletically over Olu. Olu's a very smart, bright dude. He's not going to make a ton of mistakes, and he's going to be on top of. I mean, to me, he might be the smartest dude on the entire team. And so he's not going to have any of those kind of mental breakdowns and things. But then physically, I think he could be limited a little bit athletically. So I think they're going to have a hard decision to make because they both have made a case for being the starter. And I hope that they just pick one of the dudes to ride with so they're not going into the season saying, oh, it's still a battle at center. Like that doesn't help to me. So I think right now, just because Olu's been injured and hasn't played a ton of the games, the plays in the preseason, if you're preparing for the game and you've seen what Sundell has put on tape, man, you have to really strongly consider, starting the season with him. I mean, he looks the part. He plays tough and aggressive and physically, and he's a really good athlete at that position. So from what I've seen, I think it was Olu's job to lose coming into the preseason, but I think that Sundell has kind of leveled the playing field, and someone in this last week or two is gonna really have to step up and own it versus they're gonna have to make the decision for the coaches instead of waiting for the coaches to make a decision.
Curtis pointed out earlier in the show that it sure feels like a lot of national voices are turning towards a more optimistic view of the Seahawks offense compared to how they were a couple months ago. Ray, when you look at the Seahawks offense, do you think they could be much better than people think? What's your kind of overall outlook, like ceiling of what they could do?
Yeah, I would probably say I was probably riding with the national perspective on it because I just, on paper, before you got to see anything, I was just like, man, like where are the big plays are going to come from? Like, the receivers are good receivers. JSN is a fast dude, but he's not a DK Metcalf type dude. And so you just didn't know where the explosiveness from the offense was going to come from. But then after this second game, you can see where if the running game is going, you can get some big plays in the running game, but it also then sets up play action pass so guys can get deeper down the field for deeper throws and deeper passes and those types of things. So you can start to see how this offense works or this scheme works with this offense and the personnel they have there. So then you have to then have a little bit more optimism. I don't think that that anybody was expecting that type of explosion against the Kansas City Chiefs, even if they're playing their backups. No one, I don't think, expected to see that type of execution in the run game, that type of success in the run game. The rush for 250, almost 300 yards was pretty impressive. And so if it didn't kind of turn your mind towards something more positive, then you're just trying to be a hater just to be a hater.
Ray, last one from me. Two big-name pass rushers could be available via trade. Trey Hendrickson, it sounds like the Bengals are starting to listen to offers on him, and then obviously Micah Parsons in Dallas. That whole situation not really close to being resolved. Do you think the Seahawks are in position to maybe hit the fast-forward button a little bit here and go after a big name, or should they continue maybe plotting along the course that they have laid out for themselves?
Yeah, I don't tend to go down those rabbit holes, but I would just say this is the team seems to be in a place where they have a lot of depth at some different positions, in the DB room and the running back room. They're creating some really great depth. Even the backup offensive lineman came in and played well. They have a ton of dudes on the defensive line, and they're starting to develop some depth, at the linebacker position. So you may have some pieces you can move, but man, sometimes when you just subtract one little piece, it can throw off the whole group. And so you have to decide whether or not this person that you're going to trade for and the pieces you're going to give up, in what way is it going to help you? Is it going to just help you hey, we're going to get more pressure on the quarterback and we're going to be good, in points, or is this going to help us long-term win football games and have something built for the future? So I think, to me, that's the way I would have to look at it. But obviously if I had to choose between the two, I would take Parsons over Hendrickson just because of the age difference. You can invest in a 30-year-old guy who's an all-pro this year and then next year fall off the map, and sometimes that's how old man football catches up to you. So that's the way I would look at it.
He is NFL analyst Big Ray Roberts here on the Seahawks pre- and post-game show. Thanks, Ray.
Thanks, Ray.
All right, you guys have a good one, man.
Have a good one. Let's get to Headline Rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline Rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bubba and Stacy.
Headline number one, the Bengals have started to listen on trade offers for Trey Hendrickson. What's the real headline?
Will the Seahawks start talking?
I bet they'll check in. They seem to check in on everybody that's available. It just kind of seems par for the course, but I'm with Ray. I think if you had your choice, Micah Parsons would be the one that I'd want the Seahawks to go after more than Hendrickson, just because I think you're going to be able to get more out of Parsons over the long term than you would Hendrickson. I'd say if the Seahawks were a player away from making a Super Bowl run, then yes, Hendrickson would be somebody I'd want to bring in here for 1 to 2 years and hopefully that's the player that puts you over the top. But I still feel like the Seahawks are still on that climb, and I don't necessarily think Hendrickson is the piece that finishes this thing.
I think Hendrickson would make you a better team if he were here. Like, you'd be a better team tomorrow if Hendrickson flew over here and joined your team tonight. I don't think it's worth it long term to give that up for where you want to go. I agree with you. I'd feel differently for a 26-year-old pass rusher, 1,000%. And I think that would be worth it. All of that being said, I don't even know why the Bengals are wanting to trade Trey Hendrickson. I don't know what you're doing. You are a team whose offense is a Super Bowl caliber offense, whose offense should be ready to compete. And I know that you have some flaws with your offensive line and with your run game. Like, it's imperfect, right? It's not like this completely well-oiled machine that's just going to run over everyone. But, like, you are paying big money to 2 wide receivers and to your quarterback with the intention of winning now. What are you doing? Like, I know that you're probably, as the Bengals, looking at it going, well, we don't want to pay money to a 31-year-old. Who cares? Who else do you have? Who else do you have? Like, you don't have a defense. You have a defense that's going to cost you games, that cost you getting to the playoffs, that cost you potentially making a deep playoff run, considering how well Joe Burrow was playing last year, how well Jamar Chase was playing last year. There is no team that would benefit more from having Trey Hendrickson than the Bengals. Why doesn't he have an extension? Just bite the bullet and do it. Yeah, it'll cost you long term because he is an older player, but, like, he makes you better this year. What are you doing?
Headline rewrites.
Headline 2, Victor Robles is facing a lengthy suspension for throwing his bat in opposing pitcher after getting beaned for a 5th time in his last 4 rehab games. What's the real headline?
Look, who among us hasn't made some regrettable decisions in Vegas?
Sure.
You know, sometimes you get a little upset.
You just chalk it up to that Vegas nightlife.
I know when I threw a bat in Vegas. I just was like, what are you going to do? It's Vegas.
The bat you threw was one of those, like, long drink cups that you can carry around.
Before we get to a much more important conversation about how long a suspension could be and if there are any other cases that are similar to this, to which there aren't really, I've been practicing throwing baseballs because you know how you said that I couldn't throw a baseball into the second deck from the warning track, which is, what, 60 feet? Maybe?
No.
90?
No, second deck?
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about probably like 30 to 40 feet up.
I think I could
and
throw...
then probably like 100 feet that way.
Are we positive it's 100 feet? I know for a fact I could throw a baseball.
Close.
Okay, I can throw a baseball 45 feet.
You're maybe getting it over the net.
Well, I've been working on it. I've been practicing. I practiced a lot this weekend.
Where did you practice?
In a parking lot in Tacoma.
Were you by yourself?
No, I was with my sister. I was with my sister and her boyfriend and our friend Connor, and they were catching me while I was throwing it, and they had me move progressively further and further away. And my sister kept saying, "You're doing so good."
So 45 feet, just to put in perspective, is about 2/3 of the way to the pitcher's mound.
I know. I would not be able to throw it. I would not be able to throw first pitch without bouncing it.
Yeah, that is not the same distance from the warning track to the second deck of T-Mobile Park.
But I think
Stacy,
if I believe enough in
45
myself,
feet is not going to get you anywhere close to the second deck.
Enough about me. Victor Robles posted on his Instagram account an apology clarifying that, look, I'm not making excuses for it, but I will be adding context. He talked about coming off a long rehab stint. He's the recent passing, of his mother. He said it's been incredibly hard. It's not an excuse, but it is context. I feel you deserve to understand where I'm coming from. I'm not proud of, meaning the way he acted, and committed to being a better person, better player, but just wanted to say, like, look, can I just, like, add some context as to where I was at mentally? I'm not excusing it, but, like, I feel like this was his way of being like, I'm not some crazy monster that got mad I got hit and threw a bat. I've been in a really bad place. I'm trying to get back healthy. I've been hit 5 times and I'd had enough.
I'd say somewhere between 5 and 10 games is what Victor Robles is going to get for this.
I think that would be fair. I think more than 10 games, while it is a very serious offense, I think for instance, like if it was like 30 games plus, I think that would be a little egregious considering what past suspensions for various things have looked like. You know what I mean? I was only about 20 games.
Right, and Delman Young got 50 games like almost 20 years ago for throwing his bat and hitting an umpire.
And this was slightly different. It's not first of all, why do we even need to add the context of it's not okay? This is a very internet type thing where you're anticipating that if you say, I feel like 40 games would be a pretty crazy suspension level, someone's gonna be like, oh, so you think it's okay to throw a bat at people? Like it's you have to like program your brain into how people get into dumb arguments online. No one's saying it's okay to throw a bat. However, I do think that there are suspensions that make sense and suspensions that don't.
I saw somebody say, and I thought this is a good point, that Jose Ramirez got 3 games for knocking Tim Anderson out cold, like with his fist. I would say that's a little more egregious than what Victor Robles did.
I think throwing a bat, it didn't hit him, but I think throwing a bat's more dangerous than swinging on someone.
He knocked him out cold.
Yeah, but a bat would have knocked someone out cold if it hit him.
Sure, but he did it with his bare fist. He was like, I don't need the weapon. I got 2 weapons right here.
I think that more than 10 games would be more serious than the crime, in my opinion.
You know what this is going to be like? This is going to be like when Hector Santiago got popped for the sticky stuff. Mm-hmm. And everybody was like, you didn't actually do it. Like, people were rallying behind Hector Santiago. People are going to be rallying behind Victor Robles.
I'm going to be like, I didn't see the bat. I didn't even see the bat. I didn't see where the bat landed. I didn't see what bat.
We didn't even get to a third headline.
No, that's okay. We have other things to do. Taking a look around the NFL next.
He's the best catcher in baseball.
Pitch to Cal, swing and a drive.
And he's on Seattle Sports. Thursday afternoons all season long. It's the Honey Bucket Cal Raleigh Show.
Presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians.
More history for Cal Raleigh.
I love being here and I love these fans in the city.
Catch every episode of the Honey Bucket Cal Raleigh Show, presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians, on the Seattle Sports YouTube page, the Seattle Sports app, and seattlesports.com.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. Why is Mazda of Everett the #1 dealer on the West Coast? Mazda of Everett is locally owned and operated for 20 years. They work hard to get you their best deal every time and to make sure you drive away happy. With over 700 new Mazdas, they stock more than anyone in the Seattle area. Find out for yourself why people keep coming back to Mazda of Everett. Take advantage of the Mazda of Everett price during the More to Move You sales event. MazdaofEverett.com. Claims based on Mazda USA inventory and sales reports.
Windows are our home's top target for break-ins. At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer added security with our exclusive 3-layer security glass protection. Combined with our lifetime warranty, you'll have lifetime peace of mind. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
Beat rising costs at Lake Washington Windows and Doors. For a limited time, get a 20% inflation discount and enjoy easy 18-month free financing with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest. Details at lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Americans may not agree on much, but we agree on Social Security. We all pay in. It ought to be there when we need it. Social Security could face a funding gap in less than a decade, and I don't want to see a pay cut. I'm with AARP in the fight to protect the Social Security we earned.
Pledge to protect Social Security at aarp.org/weearnedit. That's aarp.org/weearnedit. Paid for by AARP.
Ready to elevate your everyday? Quince has the luxe staples insiders swear by, minus the markup. From 100% European linen styles and 14-karat gold jewelry to gorgeous leather bags and elevated home finds, Quince has it all. And by partnering directly with top artisans and ethical factories, Quince delivers premium quality at half the cost of similar brands. Discover everyday luxury without the markup at Quince. Go to quince.com/styleupgrade for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/styleupgrade.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
From the
see him in the regular season. So I guess good that Jordan Love is back. More good quarterback play, especially in the NFC, a conference that desperately needs it.
Sign of progress that we've seen here is that the Commanders activated Terry McLaurin off pup on Saturday. Now, that should not be confused with any progress in negotiations. I'm told it's quote-unquote status quo between Terry McLaurin and the Commanders, which means they are not close to a deal at this point in time. I think Terry McLaurin continues to look for a deal north of what DK Metcalf got in Pittsburgh, which is $33 million per year. The Commanders are considerably lower. Washington has been unwilling to budge. Terry McLaurin has been unwilling to budge. And we have a standoff now with the regular season getting closer and closer, and there being no sign that a deal is at.
I don't know that the Commanders are going to pay Terry McLaurin more than DK Metcalf's getting from Pittsburgh.
Considering what Terry McLaurin has done for that franchise and the quarterbacks that he has played with,
yes,
he deserves a huge raise.
Yes.
I also saw Cliff Kingsbury say something like, yeah, we really need to get Terry back in camp. Like, even if he gets back at this time, like, I'm not certain of his week 1 status. And it's like, if Terry McLaurin showed up
the morning of the game,
minutes before kickoff, signing his deal, he's playing.
You would rip a helmet off of whoever was replacing him.
You're not keeping Terry McLaurin out of the lineup. Miss me with that.
Washington is also rumored to be shopping running back Brian Robinson. Just a heads up for that one.
Oh, because preseason superstar Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Keep that name in mind for your fantasy drafts. I don't play fantasy football, but that's somebody who the Commanders have.
You play fantasy baseball, though. It's so much harder.
You're right.
Like, fantasy baseball's for sickos. So, fantasy football is for cool people with lots of friends.
I know we're up against the break. I found for years that I wasn't able to fully enjoy my NFL Sundays while also checking on my fantasy team, because it got to a point where, like, players going up against the Seahawks, I would root for the Seahawks, or I'd root for the player rather than the Seahawks, and it's like, I don't like that.
I tell you what, Chris, just keep going. I'll fade you out as we go to break.
Just keep talking, Chris.
And then, you know, with baseball, it's such a grind every single day.
Okay.
It's the Mariners' push to the playoffs, and it's only on Seattle Sports.
He's looking up, and it is gone! He does it again! Number 47 for Cal.
Up next, another tough test against one of baseball's best teams in the first of 3 against the Phillies in the city of brotherly love. First pitch today at 3:45. Pregame at 2:30 on Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Everyone always asks me, what were your top reasons for choosing Advanced Hair? Well, allow me to share, along with some details on, get this, their once-a-year summer savings event. Okay, first off, Advanced Hair stands by the results, and I'm living proof those results are second to none. With Advanced Hair, your own natural hair is guaranteed to grow. Secondly, Advanced Hair combines top-rated physicians with modern technology, creating a concierge quality experience that blew away my expectations. And lastly, Advanced Hair's Advanced FUE begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. It is quick, simple, and easy. Now, if you have a flexible schedule this summer and you've been waiting for that special savings opportunity, well, it's here. Advanced Hair's Summer Savings Event will get you the most hair for your dollar. It's their best offer ever. For details to schedule your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. Your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins.
What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something? Boat wins! Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing? Boat wins! Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing? Boat wins!
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat.
Yeah!
With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Dave Wyman here, and since I stopped playing football, we've been fortunate to live in the same house for over 20 years. That type of longevity is a good thing, except 20 years in the same house means a lot of things start to break. Most recently, it's our windows. Virtually every seal has broken, and that's why I reached out to Harley Exteriors. Chris and Ray came out to the house, and I could instantly tell we'd get along great, and I'd want to do business with them. They're local, they're huge fans of our teams, and big listeners to the station. Better yet, they have the best product. Olympic Series windows offered exclusively through Harley Exteriors are manufactured right here in Washington and designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. That means cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter. Look up Harley Exteriors for your window replacement. In August, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments for 1 year, and an additional $200 off your project. Call 833-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
This is Steve Ahmed, president of Pacific Power Batteries. We know that customers like to buy from nice people, people who we generally like and trust. We don't consciously buy from a corporation, a jingle, or a logo, but it's the little things, like knowing about batteries, how they work, and why they don't work. Maybe it's just a smile from Noe, or Brandon, or Jennifer, or even Travis. Ha! At Pacific Power Batteries, we do our best to hire and train good people so you can trust them. So come on in and put us to the test.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, two-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
From the roof to the deck, the siding to the gutters, and energy-efficient windows, State Roofing and Exteriors is your one-stop shop for home protection. With over 55 years serving Western Washington, we don't just work here, we live here. We know what your home is up against when the cold sets in and the rain starts falling. Right now, we're making it easier than ever to get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 24 months. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate.
State Roofing, the best roof you'll ever need.
Why is Mazda of Everett the #1 dealer on the West Coast? Mazda of Everett is locally owned and operated for 20 years. They work hard to get you their best deal every time and to make sure you drive away happy. With over 700 new Mazdas, they stock more than anyone in the Seattle area. Find out for yourself why people keep coming back to Mazda of Everett. Take advantage of the Mazda of Everett price during the More to Move You sales event. MazdaofEverett.com. Claims based on Mazda USA inventory and sales reports.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Bob Condotta joining us in less than 15 minutes. We got a couple questions about the Seahawks through 2 preseason games. And now just a couple weeks ahead of the start of the regular season. I'm not going to say it. I can't believe it's...
Can you believe it's almost September?
Almost September?
You guys.
We're less than 10 days away from pumpkin spice coming. Okay, I'll stop. Regular voice. Now that he's available, do you want Trey Hendrickson in Seattle? We've kind of talked around this with headline rewrites today, a little bit in NFL headlines being like, hey, what the heck is going on with the Bengals? You badly need this guy. Your defense is horrible, radio-friendly version. And, I don't know why you'd possibly trade him other than, you don't want to have to give a huge contract to someone on the wrong side of 30, but that's on you. You haven't drafted and developed anyone else to help your defense. That's a you problem that's a hole you dug yourself into. And now you're staring around with a shovel in one hand, dirt all over your face going, how'd we get here? I don't understand. But maybe their loss could be Seattle's gain. I have some sound here about what the cost could be. So we'll start here, and then I'm just going to ask you and ask listeners whether or not you'd want him here. Here's Tom Pelissero.
So what would it take to get a Trey Hendrickson trade done? Back before the draft, the Bengals had an offer on the table that was a second-round pick and change. At that time, they weren't willing to engage with that. They wanted a first-rounder. My understanding is that the price has softened or at least changed a little bit. At this point, the Bengals would want a player, somebody who maybe could even replace some of the production they got from Trey Hendrickson, as well as a pick in the 2026 draft.
So let's say hypothetically it would be Boye Mafe and a second rounder, or Derek Hall, like some kind of edge rusher you've already got, and a second rounder. Maybe if you were really, really high on Hall or Mafe and you weren't willing to budge, maybe you offered them and a third, though I doubt that gets it done. But let's start with the hypothetical. One of your outside guys, your younger guys, and a second rounder. Would you make the deal?
If it meant giving up Derek Hall or Boye Mafe, I get that Hendrickson is better than them right now, but
17.5 sacks last year and the year before, Curtis.
Yeah, his production is hard to ignore, and I just think the Seahawks would be better off with all of those guys together rather than moving one to get another. Yes, you're going to eventually have to pay Derek Hall or Boye Mafe if you want them here long term, but whatever they're going to be seeking in terms of a new contract, it's still going to be a fraction of what Trey Hendrickson is going to be asking for. Even if Hendrickson asks for not even top of the market money, which is what, $42 million, I think, because I think Myles Garrett signed for like $41 million.
That used to be at
that
one point
elite quarterback money.
I remember writing a story, I think when I was still a reporter, about Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers going back and forth about who would be the first to make like 35, 36, 37 per year. Like who would top $40 million per year.
Now Dak Prescott's making like $65 million a year. But I think, again, and I've said this a few times today, if you felt like Trey Hendrickson was the one piece keeping you from going to a Super Bowl, then like move whatever it takes to get him here and make sure that he is that missing piece. Also, Stacy, I mean, you could kind of consider this in season, but it's not technically in season. The Seahawks track record of out-of-season trades,
not great.
Not great.
Not great.
Especially when they give up a lot of draft capital.
In-season trades.
In-season trades have been fine.
Their war is crazy.
Very few have come back to bite you. Yeah.
They're hitting 400.
Yeah, they're right. They're
Ted Williams in season.
Aaron Judge. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know why the timing of the year has such a big impact on how the Seahawks success rate is with all these trades, but it just has never hit the way it does in the middle of the season. And look, maybe if they wait into the season, the Bengals price tag drops a little bit, where they're looking like, hey, we just need to move him. Like, it's not going to happen. Let's get him out of here. We'll just take a third-round pick.
Yeah.
And if that means you don't have to give up Hall or Mafe, then do it. But right now, I am not in the camp of trading for Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah. Someone says if they've softened from a second-round pick and change, why would we offer a good player and a second?
253 says Harry Ford for Trey Hendrickson.
Those do cross-sport
A cross-sport trade. The Reds get Harry Ford.
Listen.
The Seahawks get Trey Hendrickson.
Make it happen.
Let's do it.
Other 253, I was just going off of Pelissero saying he thinks it would take a current player that they could use to replace him and then that they've softened from a second. So his version of change is a current player that would replace somehow Hendrickson. And ideally you'd have someone that wouldn't be a former second-round pick for you. That just happens to be who they have in that group. I don't actually think it would take that, but I was just fitting it with what Pelissero was saying it might take, hypothetically.
Yeah.
I agree with you. So instead of being too much of an echo chamber, I'll instead kind of flip the final point you made before we get to Bob. You said, look, if Hendrickson was the missing piece before this team becomes a Super Bowl team, do you see a missing piece, or is it more that as a whole, they're just not that complete yet?
I just don't think they're as complete yet. You still have kind of an unsettled quarterback position where, if Sam Darnold's able to replicate what he did a year ago, then that would be fantastic. But I don't think he's going to throw for, 35 touchdowns and 4,500 yards or wherever it was he did last year with the Vikings. I think he could still be a really good quarterback, but is him being pretty good to really good, like, is that going to be enough to get this offense back to, Super Bowl caliber? I don't know. I think once you get the quarterback spot a little more solidified and just kind of round out everything with young, controllable talent, like then you should be starting to make those kinds of moves where it's like, yeah, we're going to go out and do what the Eagles did with like A.J. Brown, the Chiefs last year with like DeAndre Hopkins and stuff like that. But I just don't see it right now from this current group. Not to say that it can't get there one day, but I think the Seahawks are still on the climb here.
Let's ask Bob Condotta whether he sees this as a feasible, realistic trade at all for Seattle, and also what stood out to him about Clint Kubiak's offense through 2 games so far. Don't go anywhere.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Josh Naylor's hit the ground running. The defense has been something I did not even think about. If it's possible, I would be knocking on the door, calling the phone, sending the emails with his agent. And I think if they are able to go on a deep run in the postseason, that could go a long way into selling Seattle to him if it needs to be sold.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Beat rising costs at Lake Washington Windows and Doors. For a limited time, get a 20% inflation discount and enjoy easy 18-month free financing with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest. Details at lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included, for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Step into Seahawks game day at the Pro Shop, where the roar of the 12s begins. And official Seahawks gear is always within reach.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
This is the Pro Shop. Visit the official store of the Seattle Seahawks, located at Lumen Field and the Landing in Renton.
This sandwich, it's a complete game changer. Hello, this is Mike, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club is that juicy chicken with that toasty pretzel bun. That bun, it's crispy, cozy, just amazing. With the pretzel bun, the Dijon mustard, and the chicken, it makes that sweet, savory kind of combination. It's everything that you love about food rolled into one. It looks phenomenal. It tastes great. It's delicious.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer lets you easily compare direct rates from different insurance companies, so you can be confident you're getting the right one, even if it's not with Progressive. Way more confident than you were when you bought that TV in a parking lot. It just happened to not come in a box or include a remote. And when you finally managed to turn it on, all it displayed was the menu of Grumpy's Tacos. So use Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer and be confident you're getting insurance that's right for you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Americans may not agree on much, but we agree on Social Security. We all pay in. It ought to be there when we need it. Social Security could face a funding gap in less than a decade, and I don't want to see a pay cut. I'm with AARP in the fight to protect the Social Security we earned.
Pledge to protect Social Security at aarp.org/weearnedit. That's aarp.org/weearnedit. Paid for by AARP.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm, I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners dropped 2 of 3 to the Mets in a weekend series. Cal Raleigh hit home run number 47 yesterday, a 2-run bomb in the 7th, but it wasn't enough to get them out of a then 7-1 deficit. Instead, it's a 7-3 loss. The Mariners open up a series against the Phillies today at 3:45. Logan Gilbert against Ranger Suarez.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. We got a lot of questions about the Seahawks now with 2 preseason games under their belt and 1 to go. Joining us now, Seattle Times Seahawks reporter Bob Condotta on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Bob, how's it going?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good. Happy to have you. We got a lot of ground to cover, so I'm going to get started with early takeaways. What stood out so far about Clint Kubiak's offense through 2 preseason games to you?
Well, just how effectively the running game's been. I mean, I think that's the really obvious point that everybody has made, so I'm not breaking news there. But, you know, they've talked since day one that he got here and, you know, day one of OTAs and stuff like that getting the running game going and committing to it was going to be a key focus of this offseason. You know, Abe Lucas kind of memorably saying it's non-negotiable that they're going to run the ball this year. And so far we've seen them do it. And there's all the caveats to the preseason, obviously, but still, you know, that they're showing that just from a basic execution standpoint, they are executing what they're trying to get done. You know, that the outside zone scheme does appear to be like a pretty good fit for some of these guys. And, you know, that they went into the offseason. I talked to Anthony Bradford yesterday a little bit, you know, and he talked about kind of changing his body, knowing that this is what they were going to do scheme-wise, and knowing he needed to kind of, you know, be a little more nimble on his feet and stuff like that to kind of fit what they're doing. And so, you know, having a real set scheme that they know they're doing, and this is what they're going to practice all the time, and then going out there and executing it. You know, there's no real secrets to a lot of this. I mean, this is a pretty well-known offense, and you're not necessarily tricking people, but it's about execution and things like that. And so far, they've really shown an ability to do that on offense.
Bob, what's your read of the running back spot for the Seahawks right now? Because just kind of reading the tea leaves, it sounds like with McDonald and Kubiak, they're starting to favor Zach Charbonnet over Ken Walker. Is that kind of how you see things shaking out right now with that group?
I mean, I don't know if they're favoring him. I think what they do want is they want to see more of Ken Walker on the field. I don't know. Ken Walker has obviously been dealing with a sore foot that goes back to OTAs. And, when Ken Walker has been out there, he was out there yesterday doing everything, and he looks really good when he's out there. I don't think there's any doubting how valuable Ken Walker can be to the offense. I think they just want to see it, and I think they'd like to see it a little bit more. And I think they want to make sure that, once he gets ready to go, then he's ready and ready to go, and he's going to be out there consistently and all that, and not have to worry about his availability. So I think that's sort of the thing. Zach Charbonnet has been out there every single day. Has been really consistent, and so they've seen a lot of Zach Charbonnet, and so they know exactly what he can do as well. I still think Ken Walker has a huge upside. I think they think that. So I don't think there's any questioning of how good he can be in this offense. But, Zach Charbonnet has been the guy who's been out there every single day, and there's been a lot of days they haven't seen Ken Walker out there as much. And I just think, with the season, we're now getting to the point of the season, and I think they want to make sure that when September 7 rolls around, they can count on him.
We'll get back to the Seahawks team that they have right now, but I want to ask this question before I forget. We've been talking about a Trey Hendrickson trade, kind of the possibility of that. Does it feel like to you a Seahawksy type move that would make sense, or does it not quite fit for them?
Well, I think Uchenna and Wuso being back, I think makes it a lot less likely. I think if they'd have really worried that and Wuso wasn't going to be around this year, then they might be more apt to want to go get a veteran like that. But I think they like the group they have, and if you suddenly add a guy like that to it, I mean, you not only have to trade, you've got to sign him to a big contract probably to keep him happy, and you've then got to carve out, obviously you would be carving out a significant role for him, and you'd be decreasing the roles of some of these other guys. I think a little bit of the culture they're trying to build here is these are our guys, and we're going to battle with our guys, and these are the guys who've been here all off season and things like that. And so with young guys like Derek Hall and Boye Mafe, I think they like those guys quite a bit and want to put them in there. So I'd never rule things completely out, but I think in general that they kind of like what they have on defense, and so I don't know if making a huge move, and again that would be a huge move that would require a lot, is necessarily the first thing they're looking to go do.
What have you made of Jalen Milroe in the first two games of the preseason? He appeared in a special package, got to do the tush push, also has lined up a quarterback. What have you made of his performance so far?
I think it's been pretty much to be expected. I think he's shown some real flashes, and you've definitely seen the athleticism at times. The speed part that obviously from the day he was drafted, people were intrigued by. But I think he also looks like a rookie quarterback who's got some room to grow. And Mike McDonald talked after the Chiefs game specifically about some of the just some of the getting organized at the line of scrimmage kind of stuff. How the offense functions, and they had to take a timeout there to avoid a delayed game penalty, some things like that. So. I think he's shown why. I think from the start, I think most people around the team were like, this isn't, the talk that he might somehow emerge into the battle for the starting job, that wasn't really what they were necessarily looking for out of him this year. It was far more about, bringing a guy in to develop for a couple of years here, and then hoping down the road, you've really got something in a couple of years. And I think that's in general kind of what's happened. And so I think he's shown a lot of good things at times, but he's basically from day one worked with the number 3 offense, and it's been Darnold with the 1s and Locke with the 2s, kind of staying true to what they said from the start, that there wasn't really a competition here. It was just more about having the top guys really learn the offense and kind of developing Milroe. And so I sort of think that's where it is. But certainly the tush push play was intriguing because they can certainly try to find ways to get him on the field here or there. But I don't think that's finding a way to get him on the field for like an entire series, just taking Sam Darnold out and suddenly putting Jalen Milroe in. I don't think that's ever necessarily what they were looking to do or thought about doing. I think it's more just things like that, where maybe there's a player or two here, especially short yardage, red zone, some things like that, where maybe you can find some ways to get him on the field.
I feel like you pretty encouraged by what I've seen from the run game, knowing that maybe the two questions about skill position players or skill questions about offense was, can they turn the run game around? Also, who replaces DK as a deep downfield threat? So feel good about the run game. I'm not entirely sure about the DK equation, though. I think that it's probably a false narrative to say, oh, the Seahawks got rid of DK and brought in Cooper Kupp, given that they have different roles in this offense. But I don't know who's going to be like that take the top off the defense kind of guy for Seattle. Is there someone emerging for you?
Well, I still think they're counting on it being Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Now, I know we haven't seen a lot of him in the preseason, but I think some of that is he's a veteran who I think they sort of know what they have there. So, in the preseason games, he wasn't going to play a whole lot, like with a lot of the rest of the veterans. But I still think they're counting on him being a guy who could do that, and obviously not to the same extent DK Metcalf did, but being a guy who can throw that into there for sure. Torrey Horton has shown some glimpses. Obviously, especially in the first game, you saw some things of what he could do, and right now he's dealing with a little bit of an ankle injury. So we'll see how much he does this following week, but. Otherwise, it's guys we've all seen but for several years, right? Jake Bobo, Derek Young. I mean, there's no real mystery. Cody White. There's no real anybody just coming out of the blue that we've never heard of before. I mean, it's just cobbling together the receiving core out of what they have. But again, my view is kind of the talk that Valdez-Scantling isn't going to be part of the team. I think is a tiny bit overblown. I just think, I think they signed him. Clint Kubiak saw specifically what he could do last year when he played for Kubiak with the Saints and how they can fit him into the offense. And so, they haven't shown that in the preseason games, but I think they feel like when the season rolls around, that's something they know they have. And I think they're counting on him to help add to that. And then, you can play Jackson Smith and Jigba more on the outside as well. I mean, I think they're going to vary his role a little bit more this year than it was the last 2 years when he was with Tyler at DK, and they can count on him more, I think, or we'll certainly try to put him in more positions to do that kind of stuff as well.
Bob, Uchenna Nwosu has been cleared to return to practice. What do you think what do you think his workload is going to be? Do you expect him to be ready for week one? How do you see that working out?
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit of a rush to get ready for week one, but conversely, it's even if he gets out there for 10 or 15 plays, he can make an impact. I mean, it's not trying to be a quarterback, a position where you have to be on the field every play or something. So, even if it might take him a little while to work into it, you could still, if he's ready, if he's healthy enough to play week one, you could carve out enough of a role for him in the pass rush rotation. He obviously hasn't done anything really football wise since the end of last season because he didn't really do anything in OTAs and now he hasn't in camp. So we'll see. I think that's why they were excited to get him. That he was able to pass his physical this weekend because you have a couple of practices this week and then you'll have what they'll have next week. As well to kind of really get a sense of where he is before you then really start game planning for the 49ers, kind of the week after that. So, we'll see. Yeah, he's a guy who knows what he's doing out there. He knows the defense, so there isn't much he's got to go figure out the playbook or something. It's just a matter of getting him, ready to go physically. And so, they've talked a lot about how well he's worked behind the scenes and with the conditioning and stuff like that. So we'll see on that. I do think the next 10 days or so will be pretty big with that, with getting him on the field and ramping him up and then seeing, them getting a sense of where he is in that week one. And, they've got some other guys kind of on the roster, Tyreek Smith, who's dealing with something because he didn't play the other night, but, and some of the younger guys as well. So who knows, maybe they sneak onto the roster in some way week one and help account for that. But, taking Nwosu off the PUP list, obviously that indicates that they were fully expecting that he is going to, at some point in those first four games, be ready to go.
The Seahawks are going to have a joint practice with the Packers ahead of that preseason finale. This is a tough question to ask. I don't actually know that there's an answer, but what do coaches watch for in joint practices that they wouldn't get from like a scrimmage with their own team? Like, are there things that you can take away? What are you actually watching for?
Yeah, what they like is the game plan part of it, right? They don't know for sure what the other guy's going to do, so they try to set up. When they did it with the Titans last year, an awful lot of it was situational stuff, and so they just set up, hey, the Seahawks have the ball with, there's 3 minutes left to go in the game. They're going to start at their 25, 1st and 10. And so the Seahawks call their plays, and then the other, the defensive coordinator or whatever on the other team calls their plays. And so that's what they get out of it, is they get another team with obviously other players they haven't been practicing against, who don't know their offense or, know their tendencies or whatever from having practiced against them every single day for months and months, basically going back to the spring. And so that's what they like about it, is that aspect of the unknown. It's the closest thing I think they feel like to being able to kind of play a real game where you can do that, where you can set up these situations. And why they like the joint practice better than a preseason game is that you can control it that way. You can say, hey, we really want to do this. We want to run 10 plays from the 10-yard line, and we've got some packages we want to work on, and so we're going to go against your defense. And, so the coaches, they talk with each other and kind of plan all this ahead of time, right? And so they each know, here's what we want to get out of it, here's what you want to get out of it, we'll practice this. We'll practice this with our offense against your defense, that sort of thing. And so they set up a practice plan that way. And then what they also like out of it, obviously, is with the officials there, you can get a quick whistle. So, if you're playing a preseason game, you've got to play it as a game and live tackling to the ground and all that. They don't do that much in the joint practices because you're trying to keep guys healthy. And so that's what they like about that as well. So they can kind of keep it structured that way. But, that's one of the main things is just, did this work against when we tried this new play that we have, that how did another team react to it when we threw this out there, and what can we learn from that going forward into the season?
Bob, last one from me. How do you think the starting offensive line is going to shake out? Do you see Jalen Sundell being the starting center, or is it going to be Olu? How do you see that position battle?
A little bit of a question. Yeah, for sure. I don't know how necessarily you take it away from Jalen Sundell right now with how well they've played. I mean, you can't really ask for them to have done more than they did the other day, right? With when he was out there with manning the center spot, and it's not just the results, but I think how clean it was. The operation of it all. Sundell seemed to handle that part of it really well, also. So. But Oluwatimi, I think it was a pretty even battle before Oluwatimi got hurt. So and Oluwatimi obviously has the experience of having played last year. So whether he can get healthy and kind of get back into it and make a run there is certainly a question. They said, or McDonald said yesterday that they're hoping Oluwatimi is back and can take part in the joint practice. So I would anticipate that if he can do that, that would be the last thing they would probably use as sort of some evidence here of what they need to decide that, because I do think by when they hit the field, when they practice again next week, Monday, Tuesday, I think they're going to want to have their starting five set. Right now, I would bet on it being Jalen Sundell. But I think that would also be one of those things where, you kind of feel like you have two guys who can do it. And, if something happens early in the season or something and it's struggling, you can make a change there. But, at the moment, I think it all points to that. The other four spots, I think are set. I think Anthony Bradford has won the right guard spot. And the other three were set from day one.
Check out the latest from Bob Condotta at SeattleTimes.com or the Seattle Times app. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay, thanks a lot, you guys.
Have a good one. All right, let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Uh-oh. You know how you can counter that turd? Just drinking regular water. You got to hand it to me on that one. First down, what's the biggest piece of NFC West news today?
Matthew Stafford returned to practice, and look, I know sometimes it's easy to fall into that trap of like, no, I wish he would have been hurt, and yes, that would have benefited for Seattle, but for the sake of like, hey, I hope everyone is healthy, just for good karma, it is good news in general that he returned to practice. Certainly something to keep an eye on, though. This was a huge factor for Seattle. I mean, Colin Cowherd on The Herd last week chose the Seahawks to finish first in the NFC West in large part because Matthew Stafford wasn't practicing. Not playing, wasn't practicing. Nor was their starting left tackle who'd been dealing with blood clots. all summer. He wasn't practicing either, and he was like, look, you can have all the talent in the world on your defensive line. You can have these really exciting wide receivers, but when you do not have your starting quarterback and your left tackle out there, it's hard for me to have faith. Well, 1 of 2 back, so that's good news for the Rams. The latest from Sean McVay, when we talked about it earlier, it was that he was heading to practice. Now they've since wrapped practice, so we actually have some quotes. Sean McVay told reporters, I thought Stafford did a good job today. We had 26 plays of team. He did a really nice job managing the huddle. Thought he saw the field well. He declined, Sean McVay did, to share the plan for the week. He just said, we're going to go day to day, really just a week at a time. So again, very fluid, the entire situation right now. They aren't coming out saying Matthew Stafford's good to go. He's back. We're so excited. They're easing him back in. Today just happened to be the first day, and for them, he looked good.
Second down. Stacy, which questions did we receive answers to on Friday?
So 2 questions.
And over the weekend.
Yeah, 2 questions that we had certainly for a while is who's your starting right guard and when is Uchenna Nwosu playing? We got answers to both. One became very clear, not just in the game, but from both preseason games and from training camp, that it sure looks like Anthony Bradford has, for a second year in a row, won that right guard spot. The second one came from news itself, a roster move. Uchenna Nwosu has been cleared to return to practice. Don't forget that on the first day of training camp, Mike McDonald was asked about Uchenna Nwosu dealing with that knee injury. What's it going to be like coming back? And he had no timetable. No timetable. I think he said something like, looks like it's going to be on the longer end of things, like we're just kind of waiting to see. And then there were no updates whatsoever because they frankly didn't have any. So I had started to wonder before this preseason game, before the news of Uchenna coming back, I had started to wonder, are they going to add? I mean, we had Brady Henderson of ESPN join us a couple times and say, hey, I'm wondering if they go add a veteran like Jadeveon Clowney. It wouldn't have to be Clowney, but what Brady was wondering is, if Uchenna isn't ready to go, do you add someone there? Because you're going to need 4 healthy guys to be rotating in and out. You don't have that right now. So that's huge news for Seattle. 2 questions answered.
Third down. So, which new questions do we have for week 3 of the preseason?
So, 2 new questions have emerged. One is about depth elsewhere, from your outside linebackers to off-ball linebackers. We're looking at Knight, Tyrese Knight, wondering what his health status is, his injury status, how available he's going to be. And now, instead of wondering if they're going to add Jadeveon Clowney as a pass rusher, I'm wondering if they're going to continue to add maybe some depth, just some bodies at inside linebackers. Secondly, it sure looks and sounds like Jalen Sindell is winning that starting center job, which is also something I'm a little surprised by. I had anticipated, as did most people, that it would be Olu Oluwatimi. He's getting the vast majority of first-team reps, but Jalen Sindell has gotten a lot of time there. We had Ray Roberts, who said that he thinks Olu is brilliant, but that Jalen kind of has an edge right now physically over him. We had Bob join us saying, yeah, it kind of looks like it's Jalen's job right now. This is going to continue, as will right guard, to be a battle, but it looks like it's going to be Bradford at right guard and Sindell at center. Again, another game to play, and then a couple weeks to go until week 1.
Fourth down. Patriots Executive VP of Player Personnel Elliott Wolf said something at the team's practice this morning that you appreciated.
Yeah.
What was it, and why should other teams take note?
Elliott Wolf was asked this morning whether New England would consider giving up a second or maybe even a first-round pick to make the team better this season. And keep in mind, New England is not considered a Super Bowl favorite. They are not considered a playoff favorite. They are in a division with the Bills, heavily favored not just to clearly win the division, but to even go on and win a Super Bowl in a stacked AFC where it's like, good luck trying to do anything. You're in rebuild mode. And yet, when asked whether he'd give up a first or second rounder to make the team better this year, said yes. Yes. And I appreciated not just the honesty and like the bluntness. He laughed about it. He said, yeah. He said, sure. Yep. So I appreciate an actual answer as a reporter, but also as just a football fan, I think it's cool when we consider that front offices look at things much differently than do fans. Sometimes, as fans or as critics, everything is black and white, and we don't do it intentionally. We do it to kind of make sense of where different teams are. Oh, the Patriots, they're building. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how I see them. I'm not looking at the Patriots. I'm not taking a bunch of Patriots in fantasy football. I'm not looking at the Patriots as a team to keep your eye on in the AFC. In my mind, they're building. Yeah, Drake looked pretty solid at the end of last year. They've got some pieces that are really intriguing, but they're building. To hear someone say, no, I'd make a more aggressive move right now, kind of challenges in a way that front offices execs do that we don't think about the ways that you build up a team, how quickly you build up a team, when you make those hard left turns to add something or do something really aggressive. I just think it's really interesting. Team building to me is one of the more fascinating parts of sports, and I love that a team that by all outward appearances is very much building up pieces is also willing to be very aggressive because they recognize the benefit of having talented young pieces on rookie deals. So, I don't know, maybe they should trade for Micah Parsons. Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
The Mariners try to bounce back against the Phillies tonight. Pregame starts at 2:30 p.m. First pitch at 3:45 p.m. on Seattle Sports. Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. Coming up at 1:45.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Josh Naylor's hit the ground running. The defense has been something I did not even think about. If it's possible, I would be knocking on the door, calling the phone, sending the emails with his agent. And I think if they are able to go on a deep run in the postseason, that could go a long way into selling Seattle to him if it needs to be sold.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Start having fun. Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. Dave Wyman here, and since I stopped playing football, we've been fortunate to live in the same house for over 20 years. That type of longevity is a good thing, except 20 years in the same house means a lot of things start to break. Most recently, it's our windows. Virtually every seal has broken, and that's why I reached out to Harley Exteriors. Chris and Ray came out to the house, and I could instantly tell we'd get along great, and I'd want to do business with them. They're local, they're huge fans of our teams, and big listeners to the station. Better yet, they have the best product. Olympic Series windows offered exclusively through Harley Exteriors are manufactured right here in Washington and designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. That means cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter. Look up Harley Exteriors for your window replacement. In August, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments for 1 year, and an additional $200 off your project. Call 833-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
When you own a business, it feels like everything's on you. Orders, deliveries, employees, on you. That's why Comcast Business is giving you a year of mobile on us with your internet service. Really? Yep. We'll cover your first line of mobile for 1 year. So calling customers, getting directions, texting Janine and shipping, on us. The broken coffee maker? That one's still on you, which means you'll save hundreds for your business and get the fastest mobile service with 5G cellular and Wi-Fi hotspots on us. But hurry, this deal won't last long. Get a mobile plan and free up the budget to maybe, I don't know, fix that coffee maker? Get mobile on us for 1 year, you guessed it, on us. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/22/25. Restrictions apply. New mobile customers only with internet standard service or above. Limited to value of 1 unlimited intra-line apply via 12 monthly internet bill credits. 1 discount per account. Fastest mobile based on mobile Wi-Fi and cellular data in service areas. Ookla Speed Test Intelligence 2H24.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, college students, Safeway is giving you 5% off. That's right, junior colleges, tech schools, universities. Just verify your student ID in the app, unlock exclusive deals, and shop on the app or in person. Better yet, subscribe to Fresh Pass to get free delivery and other special offers. Remember, if you use EBT, Fresh Pass is 50% off and you get savings on fresh produce. For all the details, visit Safeway.com/4U. That's Safeway.com/FOR and the letter U.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Are you finding it hard to stay cool in your home during hot weather? The issue is likely your window's poor quality and lack of heat deflecting technology. Adrian here, owner of Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Our windows are 25% more energy efficient than Energy Star standards and come with high-performance Sun Matrix glass, which can help keep the summer heat out. Combined with our Leak Armor installation, your comfort will be secured for a lifetime. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, I got a couple things. Well, first of all, one thing to say. Got your questions in for what I need to know, 866-979-3776. I have a couple things sticking with me from our conversations with Bob and Ray that I want to cover, and then I want to get back to a point that you made about whether this team's close to being a Super Bowl team. You?
Man.
Okay, so questions in over the next 15 minutes, 866-979-3776. I'll start with one of Ray's comments that was sticking with me. Well, maybe two, but one of them was certainly where he said, Olu's probably the smartest guy on the whole team, but Jalen's going to have that physical advantage over him, so he's going to get that role. I was just very surprised. Ray he talks to these guys. He knows these guys. He's well connected with the team, and we don't get nearly enough insight or as much as we should into the offensive line. And part of it's just that people don't ask after offensive linemen a ton, unfortunately for them. Thankless job. But it's also always interesting hearing a lot of insight from someone who's been there, done that. And Ray is one of those guys. He had so much to say about not only like, hey, this is the best I've seen Anthony Bradford look, but despite this really good thing about Olu at center, I think it's Jalen's job.
Yeah, what he said about Anthony Bradford, that was what stood out to me from that conversation where he said, this is the best I've ever seen him play.
Yeah.
And it's true. You look at just how the numbers bear out, like, yeah, this is the best. I think Pro Football Focus had Anthony Bradford as the highest rated Seahawk from Friday's game. And I mean, there were a lot of Seahawks to pick from in terms of who had a great performance. And I mean, that's kind of weird to hear from, people who have followed this Seahawks team over the last couple of years, where Anthony Bradford just has not been consistent enough in his play to maybe warrant getting that full-time starting job. But look, this is year 3 now for Bradford, I believe. Maybe he's starting to put it together. And if he does and kind of lives up to, his physical billing, which everybody has looked at Anthony Bradford over the course of his career, and it's like, yeah, that guy's built like an offensive lineman.
Yeah,
like,
you can fit 5 of me in each of his calves.
Exactly. Like, that guy has all the physical tools that you would want out of an offensive lineman. It's just, getting to get everything working together. That's just been the toughest thing for him. To Ray's point about Olu being probably the smartest guy on the team, I mean, you look at the 3 schools that he attended in his college career: Air Force Academy, which you got to be smart to get into a service academy. I believe you need your state senator has to like sign off on
Really?
it. Yeah, to get into a service academy. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. And then Virginia, UVA, which is a pretty prestigious school, and then Michigan, which is not. It's
not too shabby.
Not too shabby. So, you got to have the grades to get into all three of those places.
Yeah.
206 says Olu did attend Virginia Ray's alma mater, so not a surprise he'd say that. But
No,
Ray's
but
also a very smart guy himself.
Ray's also really smart, and importantly, even though there is a personal relationship there, Ray knows way more and has talked to way more of these guys than have 99% of people. So you can say, oh, well, there's a little bit of bias there with Virginia guys, but also he spent a lot of time getting to know this team.
Right.
So it's cool insight.
Yeah, and if there's somebody you can trust when it comes to the ins and outs of O-line play, Ray Roberts is that guy. There's very few people in this market that have their finger on the pulse of what good O-line play looks like and just kind of how everything flows together. But, those were the two things sticking with me from Big Ray about where this Seahawks roster is as we're nearing cut down day, which I found out is August 26th. So
the same day as Pumpkin Spice?
Yes.
Wow.
So
August 26th is going to be huge in the sports community.
Even if you lose your job in the NFL,
it's
still get a
cut
pumpkin
down
spice
day,
latte.
but it's also pumpkin spice latte, the release of pumpkin spice. Wow, this is major. That's a pretty busy week. What's sticking with me from Bob? I wrote down his quote about, I think some of the MVS stuff is overblown. And by that, he meant the conversations that we've all been collectively having about, like, did Torrey Horton play his way into a third spot? Did MVS play his way off a roster? That kind of overblown. Not like, is Torrey Horton good, overblown, but that this coaching staff probably has a bit more faith than fans do so far in MVS, his ability not just to be a downfield threat, but like as a veteran who knows Clint Kubiak's offense well.
Yeah, I just don't see a world where MVS is not on the 53-man roster come week one because, like you said, Stacy, he was brought here to kind of be somebody to kind of back up Kubiak's teaching and be like, hey, this guy got me my best year in the NFL last year with the Saints in terms of just kind of like average per catch or whatever. And like, that's somebody that I think was brought in to get buy-in from the rest of the receivers and be like, this is a guy who can unlock you and can really make things good for you. You just got to, do what he's asking of you, and things will start coming your way. I have never been one to buy into like, oh, well, Torrey Horton's going to take MVS's job. And maybe by the end of the season, that's how it is. But I think MVS has a place on this roster. I think he's got a role on this team. And for now, I think this team's better off with him here than without him. And especially for those young guys like Torrey Horton, who have not played in any big games in their career. MVS played in tons of big games with the Packers. He won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs. Like, this guy's pretty seasoned in the league.
509, I'm glad Olu's smart, but you don't need to be smart to play in the NFL. Look at Rob Gronkowski. Well, Gronk went to Arizona.
Hey, bear down. There's two of us, so went to Arizona at 509.
You are very smart, Curtis. In fact, so smart that you brought up my next point that we're going to wrap up this segment with. We were talking about whether or not this team could stand to add Trey Hendrickson, and you said, look, if they were a Super Bowl team but just a piece away, like they just needed, this is how we felt about the team when they went and acquired Jamal Adams, and it was like, why would you give up 2 firsts for a safety? Well, if you were a piece away, if that gave the edge to your defense, because at the time you still had Russell Wilson and he looked good, you still had Bobby Wagner. The thought was that they were a competitor in that way.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I agree with you. Is there a different piece where they're a piece away, or are they not actually a piece away? And you said?
I said they're not actually a piece away. I think they're multiple pieces away from becoming a Super Bowl contender, and one of those is just getting a solid answer at quarterback. And maybe that answer is Sam Darnold. We don't know if this is the final form of Sam Darnold, or if there's another level he can get to.
Yeah, like Pokemon.
Sure.
Or Digimon, but not enough people talk about that.
Right. I couldn't name a Digimon at all.
Because you're
just
a
to
fool.
prove your point. Yeah, exactly. Matt probably could. He's big into weird stuff.
Only Pokemon, actually.
Wow.
Wow. The thing that's interesting about Digimon is they all have Mon at the end, right? But then Pokemon don't. They have all kinds of names. Curtis, you were saying.
Curtis, what's your favorite
Curtis,
Pokemon?
let's go. We got 2 minutes here, buddy.
Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold can be a good starting quarterback in the NFL. Is he a guy that can get you to a Super Bowl right now? I don't think so.
Yeah.
But not to say that he never could, but at this current moment in time, I don't think so. So you're going to need to build up everything around the quarterback spot in order to make this thing a Super Bowl contender.
Is there a piece you think they'll eventually, like, I, for instance, think that they've got lots of young, exciting pieces on defense. I think that if Murphy ends up looking real good, it's like, oh, you're. I mean, you will eventually have to replace Williams, but like, you're looking pretty good on defense. You've got experience with Julian Love, Big Cat, but you've got young guys too. You'll need to figure out contract situations with like Witherspoon and Woolen, but overall, like, there's a clear path to ascension. It's not like you're stuck in this weird limbo of you're not very good, but you got a lot of pieces that are going to need contracts. What do you do? Like, there's a clear path forward for Seattle.
Yeah.
I do. And their offensive line is very young. If they end up working out, you're feeling really good about that group. Like you, I do wonder the hardest piece to be a piece away is at quarterback.
You're right.
And I do wonder the same thing where it's like, if you find out it's not quarterback, maybe it's Jalen. Maybe it is. Maybe I want to see Jalen play all of the third preseason game. I don't know. But it's interesting because if there is a piece away and you find out that it's quarterback, that's a lot tougher than, oh, we could really use a great safety.
Yeah. The good news, though, is that teams that are, I would say, quarterback needy or teams that are just kind of looking for that long-term answer at quarterback, I think the Seahawks roster is in a way better spot than, maybe like Tennessee where they drafted Cam Ward #1 overall. Like, I think that was a good pick by Tennessee. Like, I think Cam Ward is going to have a good NFL career. The problem is that he just does not have a lot of help right now in Tennessee. Whereas if you were to bring in a rookie quarterback with this current roster here in Seattle, I think they'd be much better set up for success than a lot of these guys that have entered the NFL.
All right, get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. Coming your way next.
It's the Mariners' push to the playoffs, and it's only on Seattle Sports.
He's looking up, and it is gone! He does it again! Number 47 for Cal.
Up next, another tough test against one of baseball's best teams in the first of 3 against the Phillies in the city of brotherly love. First pitch today at 3:45. Pregame at 2:30 on Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Everyone wants to get the best deal they can when they buy a car. But what about when you want to sell your car? Of course, you want to get the most money possible, but how do you get the most you can without trying to sell it yourself? Well, that's where my friends at Wayscar Ford in Auburn step in. Not only will they buy your car today, but that's just the beginning. Once they resell your old car, they send you another check for 50% of the profit of the sale of your old car. Seriously, they've already given back over $800,000 to customers. It's such a great offer, and I know exactly what you're thinking. How are they able to do it? It's not a consignment because you get paid for your car right away. Wayscar Ford pays you right up front. They buy your car for fair market value. No more insurance, no more maintenance, no more storage. Then they pay you half the profit when they resell your car. Get the most money possible for your old car at Wayscar Ford Isuzu in Auburn and let them do the work. WayscarFord.com.
Are you frustrated with those trendy weight loss shots and not getting the long-term results you really want? This is Dr. Ryan Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and whether you've hit a plateau, can't handle the side effects, or watch the pounds creep back after stopping, there's a better way. Our program has helped over 4,000 people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in just 8 weeks without expensive injections or uncomfortable side effects. Our doctor-developed program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast. Ready for real lasting results? Visit eastsideweightlossclinic.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Did he just say Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is half the cost and works twice as fast as weight loss injections? Well, if that's not reason enough, you don't risk the scary side effects or gaining the weight back as soon as you stop. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is natural. And it works.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two, and you can do our program remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Summer is the time to feel and look your best. But I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your very own hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. They are the team that addressed my hair loss, and I recommend them to everyone. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event is on for a limited time. So get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and make the call now while their summer savings event is still on. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple one-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rurucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with zero investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
I have a handful of stories that really affected me personally in my career and how I handle employees. Lee Johnson, coming out of his office as a customer, asked me where the service department is. I was like, yeah, go to the end of the hall, go up the stairs, go across the breezeway, open a door, go to the left. You want Chevy, go to the right. You want Mazda? Because I didn't even have enough time to say, hey, what kind of car do you have? Here comes Lee, and it's like, oh, man, come with me. Let me show you. And then have him come back and not dress me down. It's just almost like with that fatherly disappointment of like, that's not how we take care of people. I mean, the right way is to walk her down to the stairs, walk her up the stairs, open the door for her, go over, cross the way, open up that door, introduce her to somebody. So she's comfortable, she's made it to the right place, and that we value the business. What you did was you made it seem like she was an inconvenience to you. Customers are the purpose of our day.
The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. I love our first question, and I did bring up NFL futures odds so that I could read them for you. Going through each of the divisions in the NFL, in which ones would you take the favorite, and in which ones would you take the field? Ready?
Okay.
AFC South favorite, Houston Texans.
I'd be hard pressed to pick against them this year. I mean the
Jags are sitting there.
I was
going to
say the only team that I think could threaten the Texans in the AFC South is Jacksonville.
Yeah,
but even then, I'm not buying it. I think Houston wins that division.
I'm taking the field. AFC North favorites, Baltimore. Will the Bengals defense be good enough?
I think Baltimore will take that division.
How dare you root actively against Joe Flacco saving the Browns?
you have two 40-year-olds
Okay, so
in that
you're going
division.
favorite. Let's see if you stay boring for the AFC West.
Kansas City.
Kansas City Chiefs. Next closest
I'm
are
not going to
Denver
pick
Broncos.
against Patrick Mahomes. You'd be pretty foolish to do
I'll
so.
take the favorite in that one. So I'm going favorite with Ravens, Chiefs, and then field with AFC South. AFC East, Bills. You better take the favorite.
Yeah, it's the Bills.
NFC North, Lions.
I think I'm going to go Packers.
I'm going field too.
I think I'm going Packers with that one.
I think you're right. It's going to be the Packers go in the field. And that's just a tough one in general. NFC East, Eagles favorite. Will the Commanders repeat? Will the Cowboys improve? Will the Giants, who have a good defense?
Sure.
Favorite or field?
I'm going to go favorite. I think the Eagles win that division.
I'm going favorite. NFC West, 49ers or field?
Field.
Heck yeah.
I think the Rams.
Last one, NFC South, Bucks or field?
I'm going to say the Bucks. I don't think the Falcons are quite ready yet.
Mm-hmm.
Give it another year. I think then the Falcons in 26 overtake Tampa Bay. But I think the Bucks have a good thing going, and they will continue their reign of the NFC South.
Okay, so what I need to know. Next questions. What I need to know is Stacy, the only Seattleite still going to Starbucks? Bring back the Sonics. First of all, I didn't even make Starbucks this morning. I'm making coffee more often. Secondly, yeah, I'm the only person here going to Starbucks. It's why there's a Starbucks on every corner. For sure the only one using it. But bring back the Sonics. What I need to know. Won a trip to Vegas for my entire fantasy football league from Yahoo Fantasy. I know, right?
Wow.
The two people who've been organizing our trip from Yahoo have been awesome. What's a nice appreciation gift we could get them? One male, one female.
Maybe give them something from Vegas, because that's how you've been able to be in contact with these people, is they've been helping you book your trip. So maybe while you're there, you go and get them something to thank them. I don't know what you get. I mean, kind of the standard thing in these kinds of gifts is like, a bottle of wine or whatever.
Like a gift basket.
Sure.
Not from Vegas. That's what you would order them.
An edible arrangement.
This is a real suggestion I have, assuming that you are from this area. If they are not, like if it's Yahoo Corporate, like maybe they're not actually based in Seattle, they have nothing. Maybe you send them like, hey, we're the trip that won. We're from Seattle, or we're from Washington, wherever you are in Washington. And you send them stuff that's like super Seattle-y. Like you send them, you know how they have like the Seattle stores and stuff?
Yeah.
Just as kind of like a regional flair for like we wanted to say thanks and send you some cool stuff.
Or, you say, hey, you live in L.A. or whatever, wherever Yahoo Corporate is. We'd like to take you to dinner. Like, just name the place. We'll send them our card information. Dinner's on us.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. What I need to know. What was your last Victor Robles moment, and what did it entail? Did you ever throw a bat at anyone? What was the last time you lost your mind?
Never did. But one time, I was getting so fed up with just, how kids are. They'll ask you for one thing, and then before you can get that one thing, they'll ask you for another. And it got to a point where, so Willa asked me to like cut the tag out of like a shirt or pair of pants or whatever that she had, and then kept asking me for more things while I was like on my way to go get the scissors to cut it out. And I was just like, and like, I just took the tag and ripped it out of the shirt, and there's like a big old hole in the shirt, and then I ruined the shirt, and I'm like, sorry.
Dad hulked out. He's crazy. Oh, but I'm crazy. Doesn't she go stinky crazy? She crazy.
She crazy. Hers crazy.
Hers crazy. That's what it is. Hers crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm not the one ripping shirts in half because I'm angry.
Let me tell you something. We drove down to Portland over the weekend, and the car ride down was fine. The car ride back at like 7:30. We left Portland around 7:30. We were hoping both girls would sleep on the way home. They did not fall asleep until we were about 5 minutes away from home. And that was, let me tell you something.
That's a tough break.
By about Olympia, we were just like white knuckling the steering wheel, just like, go to sleep, go to bed. Nope.
I can't think of my last moment of when I just like absolutely lost it on someone. I know it's existed. I have a quick temper, but I can't think of what it was. It was probably something where it's like, I don't know. I had a horrible experience at Sephora and then was like, I'm going to call customer service. And then didn't. And then chickened out and was like, no, I don't want to be a Karen. What I need to know, I'm making treats for our annual PTA meeting tonight. Already made the chocolate chip cookies, now moving on to the brownies. Got to add peanut butter to them to break up the chocolate monotony. And it got me thinking, is there any better food combo in the world than peanut butter and chocolate?
I mean, no. It's pretty amazing.
This is what's pushing it. Chocolate and caramel. Peanut butter and chocolate wins, but chocolate and caramel is pushing.
Peanut
butter and jelly, not as good as peanut butter and chocolate.
Right. I think peanut butter and chocolate is they're the Eagles.
Would we count, and I know this is brash, would we count potatoes and steak as a flavor combo? Listen, many a person has that as their favorite food.
But you're not going to the store and ordering
But if they sold you something that was steak and potatoes swirled together, you wouldn't try it?
I'd try it, but I don't think real steak and real potatoes great together.
Right.
Steak flavoring and potato flavoring.
Imagine it in like a Reese's cup shape. But it's hot, maybe.
It's like a bouillon cube.
Wyman and Bob coming your way next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Josh Naylor's hit the ground running. The defense has been something I did not even think about. If it's possible, I would be knocking on the door, calling the phone, sending the emails with his agent. And I think if they are able to go on a deep run in the postseason, that could go a long way into selling Seattle to him if it needs to be sold.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
We at Three Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. Three Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Why is Mazda of Everett the #1 dealer on the West Coast? Mazda of Everett is locally owned and operated for 20 years. They work hard to get you their best deal every time and to make sure you drive away happy. With over 700 new Mazdas, they stock more than anyone in the Seattle area. Find out for yourself why people keep coming back to Mazda of Everett. Take advantage of the Mazda of Everett price during the More to Move You sales event. MazdaofEverett.com. Claims based on Mazda USA inventory and sales reports.
Beat rising costs at Lake Washington Windows and Doors. For a limited time, get a 20% inflation discount and enjoy easy 18-month free financing with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest. Details at lakewashingtonwindows.com.
A couple years ago, I was in the bathroom at the airport when I dropped my smartphone in the toilet. Not smart. I was multitasking when I should have been focused on the job at hand. Embarrassing, but I'm not alone. According to Google, 7 million other multitaskers accidentally dropped their phones into the bowl last year. A gentle reminder that right now you can get yourself a brand new Samsung Galaxy A36 absolutely free with a $35 plan from Pure Talk. The A36 comes with scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass and a battery that'll last all day, along with unlimited talk, text, and data on America's most dependable 5G network. In other words, it's tough and smart. Something to think about next time you're multitasking in the necessary. Just dial pound 250, say keyword micro to get your free phone today. You can make the switch in just 10 minutes. That's pound 250. Say micro to switch to a no-nonsense smartphone and a company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Progressive knows there's so many great things about being a sports fan. Like scoring the company box seats. How great is that? Trick plays that actually work. Prevent defense when your team is winning by a lot. And even more preventative prevent defense as they're hanging on by a thread. And of course, saving money when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's pretty great. Just like trick plays that actually work.
Yeah, but how often does that happen?
Complaining about sports. Not so great. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot,